violence experience in this area. And yesterday, we had IBC chairman in this constituency also just urging people to maintain peace during this period and ensure that the whole process goes on well without any hitches. Also, these sentiments were also echoed by the Cabinet Secretary Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, who was also in this place also and managed to assure the residents of security that the government has put in place. Going forward, we'll continue monitoring the situation and give updates on what is going to transpire throughout the election. And also we are going to visit other stations where election is going to take place. And at the same time, we hope to go to the main tallying center later in the day at Agorosari High School, where all the results from all the 142 polling stations will be tallied at that particular place, and the winning candidate will be announced. From Kisumu County, from Homa Bay County, Kasipul constituency, back to you in studio.
One of the areas that have been very heated when it comes to this by-elections and campaign process, of course, been able to see that this time round they have an opportunity to go to the ballot and elect their representative. This democratic process, of course, being covered live here on K24 and Kameme TV. And of course, as we also just keep an eye in other regions where we will be following up with exactly what is happening on the ground as far as that is concerned. Just like Guma has put it, that people are streaming into those particular polling stations to try and make their case, have their voices heard on this particular day and this particular issue, which is crucial in the country because it is the voice that gets to speak to the leading majority, the leading minority, I beg your pardon, and also just the country at large on what the people really want as far as a representation is concerned. It has been a heated debate and also a heated election in that particular area, forcing the IBC to come out and find two of the top contenders in that particular by-election, 1 million each for violence that was had been caused during the campaign period. We did see that. And also just they did sign a peace charter to try and ensure that we get through the by-elections and the campaign period in peace. And of course, that is one of the areas, of course, the ODM party also is seeking to ensure that they get to retain that particular seat. Number two in that particular election, or rather one of the biggest contestants in that particular by-election, of course, is running on an independent ticket. And it is a by-election that has attracted 10 individuals who want to vie for that particular seat and make their case to the people of Kasipul to try and see whether they get an opportunity to represent them in the National Assembly and fill the vacant seat that was left by Ongondo Were, who was shot dead here in the city. And that is still a case that is actually ongoing. Now, we will be covering this extensively in different parts of the country. But before we do that and also cross over to our other reporters who are on the ground to bring us up to speed with exactly what is happening on that particular front, because polls have already opened. It is 18 minutes past the hour. People are already streaming in to make their case. What exactly is happening in other parts? I do want to take you through what you're waking up to as far as newspapers are concerned. And we start with the People Daily. Top story on the People Daily, of course, are covering the by-election showdown. The question PD is asking is who will win? And of course, you do have faces of some of the top contestants and of course aspirants in these by-elections. Mbere North, where we have Leonard Wamudende there and Newton Karish. That particular by-election, you know, coming down to who the regional politics, which is again the issue to do with the Mount Kenya politics. We did see Rigathi Gachagua, that is the former deputy president. Also, we saw Kithure Kindiki, who is the current deputy president, camping in that particular area to ensure that they make their case and campaign for their candidates. Of course, Leonard Wamudende is of the United Democratic Alliance, that is the UDA party, the ruling party at this particular moment. And of course, the deputy president having camped there and promised to come there until tomorrow and ensure that Wamudende gets the vote. And of course, this particular area has experienced also when it comes to claims of voter bribery, and also just the united opposition, of course, issuing a statement yesterday blaming the government and accusing it of trying to infiltrate and bungle this particular election by ensuring that Wamudende wins by stuffing ballot papers, of course, during the night, and of course, as the process actually continues. Now, it has been a blame game in that particular region, of course. We also saw the government coming out to accuse and blame the opposition, accusing them of allegedly, planning goons to disrupt the process, and also just in plans to try and rig elections. Yeah, blame game between the government, of course, and the united opposition on exactly who is planning to rig this particular election. It has been one that has attracted the nation's attention, because now it has gone back to, or rather has narrowed down to who exactly is the Mount Kenya kingpin between Kithure Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua. Of course, Rigathi Gachagua supporting Newton Karish, carrying a door-to-door campaign in that particular region extensively for the past few weeks, trying to make sure that the people of Mbeere have an opportunity to represent a leader who is going to represent them in the National Assembly, and of course downgrading their opponent in that particular election, that is Leonard Wamudende. And of course, Kasipul, like we said, it is Boyd Were and Philip Aroko. Philip Aroko, of course, running on an independent ticket. Boyd Were, the son to the former and the late MP, that is Ongondo Were, and of course that is Kasipul, vying on an ODM ticket. That is a region that has also got to see quite a little bit of violence, forcing the IBC to come in and issue a statement, and of course so warn the particular individuals that they stand to be disqualified if at all that actually gets to continue. That is Mbeere North. We do have also Kasipul. Of course, the question that we are asking this particular morning: who will win, and how will this politics get to shape the politics of 2027 and the country at large? We also have Malava constituency, and at this particular moment, it is David Ndakwa of course, UDA, and of course, we do have Seth Panyako of the candidate being supported by the United Opposition. Campaigns in that particular region have been tense, of course. Leaders of the opposition, of course, are coming out and also trying to blame the government of trying to infiltrate and cause chaos in that region. We've seen quite a few of blame games here and there from the united opposition, throwing that to the government and accusing them of having a hand in some of the chaos that have been witnessed in that particular region. We also show shooting and vandalization of properties that belong to leaders of the opposition coalition. The withdrawal of security yesterday, we did see Kakamega Senator, that is Boni Halwale, Trans Nzoia Governor, that is George Natembeya, coming out and claiming that the security has been withdrawn in attempts to intimidate them because of their support for Seth Panyako in that by-election in Malava. Now, this is an election that, of course, to some extent also narrows down to what we call now the Western region politics, whereby it is a battle of who is supreme when it comes to Trans Nzoia Governor, that is George Natembeya, and also the Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary, and also the Prime Cabinet CS, that is Musalia Mudavadi, and Speaker of the National Assembly, that is Moses Wetangula. We also do have Magarini, Harrison Kombe Garama, and of course Stanley Karisa Kenga. And of course we also have seen the united opposition coming out and saying the government is planning to rig elections in Magarini, and of course accusing the IEBC of being complacent when it comes to this particular race and this particular by-election in that area. Of course, a statement was issued by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, calling on the IEBC to not be used to cause chaos. And if we just get to quote him, he said that if we bungle this election, then they lack the credibility and trust from the Kenyan people to carry out the general election in 2027. And that's what we're saying, that this is the first battle of 2027. How will the results of this election shape the politics of 2027 and also the credibility of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission? I want us to cross over to Mbeere North, where my colleague Edwin Bugwa is on standby so that he gets to bring us up to speed on exactly what is happening on that particular front. Yesterday, we do understand there were roadblocks to try and stop people from who are believed to be outsiders to come and infiltrate and also just cause chaos in that particular region. Edwin, if you can hear me, good morning to you. And how is Mbeere North this particular morning? What's the latest?
A very good morning to you, Brian. I'm coming to you live from Kanyuambora Police Station here in Evorore Ward, Mbeere North constituency here in Embu County, where the voting exercise of the much anticipated Mbeere North constituency by-elections has officially kicked off at around 6 a.m. when residents are still trickling in to also exercise their democratic right to have their next member of parliament who will have to represent them for the next 2.5 years. This is after who was the member of parliament, that is Geoffrey Ruku, was nominated or appointed as a cabinet secretary for public service. In this by-election, we expect around 55,124 registered voters to take part in this particular exercise, and also in different polling stations. We have a total of 134 polling stations in this particular constituency, and of course, interestingly, this ward has the highest number of voters at around 26,000. That's almost half of the total number of registered voters in this particular constituency. Much later, we also expect the former Attorney General and also former, that is Justin Muturi, and also former Embu Senator, that is Lenny Kivuti, who will be voting in this particular polling station. Remember, this time round, these two long-time rivals who are pulling from one side, supporting a DP candidate, that is Newton Karish, in this, of course, particular showdown. I'll be also speaking to some of the residents who are here to get to know how they at what time they arrived here, how is the process. Remember, all the way from the gate, they are the residents, before entering this particular police station, they are able to verify whether they are in the IEBC register, because of course they have to appear in order for them to participate in this particular exercise. I'll start by talking to one of them here. Mama, karibu sana. Tuanze kwa jina lako, na pengine ukianza na jina lako unaweza tueleza ulifika hapa saa ngapi, na pengine unatarajia ama process ya kupiga kura imekuwa vipi? Tuanze kwa jina lako tafadhali.
Kwa majina naitwa Erozi Modhoni. Nilifika hapa mapema sana, saa 11, na expect ikue vizuri.
Pengine ile process ya kuingia hapa, umekuwa jina lako pengine kulikagua kwenye ile orodha ya IBC, pengine process nzima iko vipi?
Process iko mzuri.
Asante sana. Niweze tu kuzungumza na mzee huyu hapa. Tuanze kwa jina lako mzee tafadhali, na utueleze majina yako na umetoka eneo lipi, na pengine uliweza kufika hapa mida ya saa ngapi?
Naitwa Friend Muthi.
Pengine umetoka eneo lipi na ulifika hapa mida ya saa ngapi, na pengine matarajio yako siku ya leo ni yapi?
Nimefika hapa saa 6:30.
Pengine ile process tu ya kukuja kupiga kura imekuwa vipi?
Process ni mzuri.
Asante sana. Of course, those are sentiments from some of the residents who arrived here as early as 5 p.m. of course to 5 a.m. sorry, of course, to participate in this particular by-election. Pengine mama, unaweza tu kutuzungumzia kwa kifupi tu, tuanze kwa jina lako na utueleze pengine ulifika hapa saa ngapi na matarajio yako kwa jumla siku ya leo ni yapi?
Majina yangu naitwa Alice Wanjiru. Niko hapa nikitarajia tutafoti vizuri. Nilifika hapa kitu 6 nikaangalia jina yangu nikapata, alafu nikapata kuna karenika kubwa kidogo, lakini I'm almost niko karibu kufikiwa na ninatarajia siku itakuwa mzuri, election itaenda vizuri.
Pengine kuna changamoto zozote umeweza kukabiliana nazo asubuhi ya leo wakati ulikuwa ukifika hapa?
Kukuwa na challenges, isipokuwa tu nikamvua ilikuwa inataka kunyesha kidogo, lakini haijanyesha bado.
Pengine ujumbe wako kwa wakazi wa eneo bunge hili la Mbeere North siku hii ya uchaguzi ni upi?
Mimi ningewahimiza wafanye election pole pole na wasikuwe na furugu. Mtu achague mtu mwenye anataka, anajua ataenda kutuletea maendeleo.
Thank you very much. Huo ni ujumbe wa mmoja wa mpiga kura. Brian, if my cameraman can show you, this is one of the posters before you get into the police station, of course indicating some of the, not some, but all of the contestants. These particular police stations, this particular by-election have drawn, nine contestants will be, of course, battling it up for to represent the people of Mbeere North. This is the process that the voters are going through. Of course, as they enter this particular room, they have to pass through this desk where their identification or their voters registration is verified, and later on they are given the ballot boxes where they'll be ticking their preferred candidate on, and of course they will be putting their voters card, their ballots in this particular basket. And of course we will still continue pitching cap in this particular constituency, moving from one police station to another, of course, to keep our viewers posted on any development, of course, ensure all until the last vote is cast, counted, and of course as the winner will be announced. Of course, Mwai, just to mention, earlier today there was an uncertainty, of course, after an incident that happened earlier before the voting process, of course, kicked off, where some of the residents suspected to be there were already already marked voters card, but the situation was contained and all is calm. Residents are still trickling in to come and also participate in this particular exercise, of course, and much later we'll be waiting to speak to also former senator, and of course senator, of course former member of parliament, and also former attorney general, that is Justin Muthi, who are expected to come in here in a moment from now and also participate in this particular by-election. Of course, security has been beefed up. A lot of police officers are have also maintained law and order. They're also ensuring whoever is entering in this in all the polling stations are registered voters from that particular polling station. Back to you, Brian.
All right, and of course, that is Edwin Bugwa on the ground. Like we promised you, that it is on the ground reporting real-time analysis and results of whatever will be happening here in the country, and of course, different parts of the country where the by-elections actually happening today. Of course, Edwin Bugwa bringing us up to speed on exactly what is happening in Mbeere North. Security, like he says, has been beefed up. Like we did say earlier, that it is one of the regions, rather areas that have been highly contested. Of course, has seen a lot of campaign heat in the past few weeks, bringing the region to what we now say it is the battle for kingship of the Mount Kenya region between the former deputy president and the current deputy president, that is Kithure Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua. Accusations left, right, and center on of course, the opposition casting aspersions already on this particular process, trying to say the IEBC is complacent when it comes to stuffing of ballot papers and try to rig in the government candidate, and that is the UDA candidate, of course. So those are just allegations, because the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has come out to clear the air as far as that is concerned. But the opposition now says that the plan has been organized by the government, and that the government machinery have been used to be able to interfere with the elections in that particular area. Another region that I want us to cross over to, and that is Magarini constituency, where my colleague, that is Boniface Msangi, is on standby to bring us up to speed with exactly what is the situation on the ground. 35 minutes past the hour. Has the voting already started? What are people saying on the ground? What are some of their expectations? Msangi, over to you. How is Magarini? What is the latest that you can tell us this particular morning as we look forward to this coverage all the way to let until the last vote is counted? Over to you.
Kwa masikio.
Fast, but bring us up to speed with exactly what is happening in Magarini constituency. What is the situation at this particular moment, this morning, and how are the numbers when it comes to people who want to choose their elected representative?
Kama ni mimi. Indeed, it is a good morning here at Magarini constituency in Kilifi County. I am currently at Kwandoro Trading Center. We already, if you can see here, these are just resident here voters who have come out to cast their vote in this by-election. It is a by-election that involves over 80,128 voters here, who will be coming out to elect their leaders here today. And also in Magarini constituency, we are having 193 polling centers, whereby voters will be coming out to cast their vote, and also to ensure that they get their leader whom they are preferring. In terms of security, the area is calm, and also, if you can see, the voters have started coming out, despite that it is a low turnout as per now, just to ensure that the situation here, it is also calm. The returning officer of this area, who is the returning officer of this area, Joseph Mwafondo, was also here just to ensure that the exercise is going on well. But I'll just talk to some of the voters who have come out here to see on what they have to say about this exercise, this by-election which is going on here. Hujambo, unaitwa nani ndugu, na pengine siku hii leo umefika hapa kufanya nini?
Siku hii ya leo nimekuja kupiga kura. Kura yangu sikulazimishwa, naipiga kwa imani, nichague yule ambaye na mwenyewe nimeamua atakuwa nani upande wangu.
Pengine unazungumzaje pengine hali ya usalama ikiwa bado ni asubuhi?
Hali ya usalama iko shwari, hakuna fujo kabisa lolote. Na hata mistari bado haijakuwa na watu wengi. Naona tuendelea vyema. Ndio.
Unazungumzaje pengine hii idadi ya watu ambao wametokeza kwa sasa ni asubuhi, pengine ndio watu bado ni kidogo, ama hali iko vipi? Ukiangalia tu.
Naona mimi ni hali ya kawaida kwa sababu bado ni asubuhi. Saa hii ni kama saa 1 inaanza kuingia. Kwa hivyo watu bado, wengine wametoka kazini wanakuja, na wengine labda wanatengeneza kifungua kinywa kwa ajili ya watu wao kule nyumbani. Labda baadaye hadi itapanda, watakuja wengi.
Pengine katika eneo hili lenu mko hapa hivi, katika eneo hili lenu hali ya usalama nyinyi kama wakazi mnaizungumziaje?
Kwa mkia leo naona hali ya usalama si mbaya, ni nzuri. Hali ya usalama ni nzuri na watu wanaendelea na shughuli zao kama kawaida, hakuna shida, hakuna fujo.
Asante sana. Pengine mzee wangu, kifupi unazungumzaje uchaguzi wa sasa ambao unaendelea?
Uchaguzi wa sasa uko sawa. Tumeingia hapa uko shwari, na ni matumaini yangu utaendelea kwa hivyo mpaka tumalize zoezi hili.
Pengine katika swala la hali ya utulivu mnaoshuhudia kwa sasa, na wale usimamizi, wale wanaosimamia kura kwa sasa, maafisa wa IBC, mnaona hali inaendeleaje?
Mimi naona wako sawa, they are more informed, and kila kitu kinaenda vizuri kufikia sasa.
Those are just some of the voters who have come out here to exercise their voting right here. But they are saying that the situation here is okay. But also, this polling centers was open at exactly 6 a.m. That's the IBC opening hours. Just to paint the picture, this constituency also has 6 wards, which are Magarini constituency, Marafa, Gongoni, Sabaki, and Garashi, and Adu. And also, we have 10 candidates who have presented themselves to ensure that they participate in this exercise here. But the tough competition will be between the DCP candidate, who is Stanley Kenga, and ODM candidate, who is Harrison Kombe, who is fighting to retain his seat. But will be also moving to Adu Award, whereby the DCP candidate will be casting his vote just to see what will he will have to say about this election, and also in Magarini ward to have a word with the ODM candidate Harrison Garamakombe to see also what he will have to say about this election. It is an election that is expected to be a tough election, putting in mind that the ODM candidates wants to retain his seat, and also the DCP candidate, who is Stanley Kenga, contested the election of Harrison Kombe. That's symbolized that he wants also to win this seat and serve his people here for at least the remaining 2 years of leadership here. Also, we'll be moving to different centers to see how is going on in those centers, just to paint the pictures to our viewers wherever they are, and also we're promising to give an in-depth coverage of this election here in Magarini. It is a tight contest between these 10 candidates here, but we will be see on how it will go as times move on. That's all from Magarini here, but also we'll we'll talk to the commissioner, IBC commissioner, who is leading this exercise here, Aluta Lala, to see also what he has to say about the starting of this campaign here at Magarini constituency, putting in mind that it has already started witnessing a low turnout from these early hours. That's a sign that perhaps residents here say that it is still early. Some are coming from work, who have been working over the night, and those who are still at home, they're preparing for their kids before coming to queue here and exercise their rights. So we'll be waiting and see what will be taking place here, so that we can update our listener wherever they are. From Magarini constituency, I am Boniface Msangi. Back to you.
All right, of course, thank you so much, Msangi, for that report. Like we did say, it is a real-time on-ground reporting here in studio. It is sharp analysis and trying to make sense of exactly what is happening on the ground and how these by-elections are going to shape the politics of this country, and also the assignment that the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has moving to 2027. Joining me in studio for this conversation and to try and make sense of the events today as we cover the by-elections 2025, the first battle for 2027 is, of course, Sheila Olang. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
It has been a minute.
It has been a long time.
And I am really, really sorry. I didn't abandon anyone.
But I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. Bernard Kitur, Member of Parliament, Nandi. Hi, how are you?
Good morning, Brian, and good morning, viewers. It's really been a while, and I'm very glad to be here today, and I'm sure the conversation we'll be having, as you said, is actually a path towards 2027.
It's a path towards 2027. Thank you so much. How is Nandi, though?
It's been well, of course, with so many dynamics, political dynamics, just as is happening in those places where there are by-elections, it's happening almost everywhere. So there are a bit of the adjustments, tectonic political movements now beginning to realign.
All right.
But Nandi is great.
Okay. Fedugola.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brian.
How are you?
I'm great. We're just listening to what he's talking about from Nandi. I know there's what they call team one term, then team two term. Me, I'm team evolve. You know, I've always been Solomonic. Neither one termonomics or two termonomics. Me, I'm Solomonic.
Solomonic.
Yeah, because when you're Solomonic, you're guided by wisdom.
Okay.
And wise people don't fall into these two categories, which are actually the same. The more they look different, the more they remain the same.
All right.
Yeah.
Time to have a conversation this morning in exactly what is happening in the country. By-elections 2025, it has been a minute. There's been a lot of issues as far as these by-elections are concerned. The reconstitution of IEBC, now it is in place. Right now, we started this particular process. Let me start with you, Sheila. What's some of your expectations as we continue this day to day?
I think first of all, I'm hoping that we use this exercise today more as a precursor into 2027 in terms of trying to reassure the voters actually that IEBC is here to provide its mandate to provide a free and fair election. That's the first thing. I'm always worried about the trust deficit that is going on in this country. It's becoming harder and harder to trust institution and to trust the system. Sometimes rightfully so, and sometimes not so much. So I'm hoping that the exercise today will build a bit more trust in the electoral process and in the system, so that we don't end up with voter apathy, because you can see that registration numbers right now for voters is quite low. So you have people very busy to agitate and complain about certain things, but they're not making that step to go and then register and show up at the polls. This could be an indicator that we are coming up with voter apathy, and the danger of this is if we develop voter apathy so that people are not coming out and voting, it does not legitimize the government of the day. So you want to encourage as much civic participation as possible. So I think today the challenge really will be on the institutions, so especially IEBC, to really prove to Kenyans or show Kenyans that it's a transparent and fair process that will be carried out today, and there's nothing to worry about in 2027. If you can remember, Brian, just the process of coming up of constituting IEBC wasn't easy. I think I remember at some point, was it Standard that had this front page of every single commissioner was linked to something or someone. So I'm hoping this exercise will reassure Kenyans that it doesn't really matter. That they can still perform the job and they can do it well. And then finally, just let's be peaceful. It's not the end of the world. Let's remember that lives are more important than whatever political dynamics that you have going on the ground. Yeah.
Sheila is talking about trusting the IEBC and the issue to do with trust deficit in the country. And of course, when this particular commission came into place, there's that hopefulness in regards to a free and fair elections, of course, in 2027 in these by-elections. But right now, of course, we've started seeing the united opposition, casting aspersions even before the process itself begins. What does this indicate moving forward? That some of these commissioners actually being implicated in issues to do with integrity?
United opposition definitely would expect them to be casting aspersions, to fishing expeditions. It's normal when you are in opposition. They just try to pinpoint any area that they would think would be a loophole towards which there would not be any transparent elections being done. But first of all, I really want to say it's been a long journey, and my excitement is that some constituencies within the country are going to get representations within Parliament. There are some constituencies like Banisa who lost their leaders quite a long time ago, and it was very disappointing. So many a time that we had this acrimonious push and pull towards getting the IEBC commissioners. It was back, forth, and you would feel that it was quite unfair when you have a section of Kenyans not having their representations or what they aspire to be handled within the seat of Parliament not being handled, or within the county assemblies level, or within the Senate levels. And therefore, now that we've been able to surmount that, we have come a long way, which I really celebrate, and I think it's been a great journey. Some people would go to court, and within also the opposition, corners, because they had been given some slots. So there was this push and pull. Finally, we were able to come out of that. Now, we have a very credible, in my view, IEBC leadership, which is cogent. Why do I say that? Because I sit in the Committee on the Implementation of the Constitution, and we had several times been inviting the IEBC to come and explain to us any challenges they have or what they have in store to be able to bring in. Of course, even when we are discussing this aspect of the by-elections that are coming, and also looking into the future of having a very credible, transparent elections. And the leadership, as I said, is cogent. And they give us the assurance that in these particular by-elections, it will be a precursor to what we will be expecting up in the future. Now, I want
allow
to...
me, if this will be a precursor, and already there's this casting aspersions, then to some extent, there's a lot that will believe the leaders of the united opposition as far as the integrity and the fairness of this process is concerned. Does that not then injure the IEBC's, credibility?
What is the work of the opposition? Is to always try and create things. You just try to, in fact, they speak things, they don't say anything. As I said, they're in the fishing expeditions. You just throw a net there and try to see if you can catch some fish. You're not sure where you'll find the fish. So what they are trying to do is to cast aspersions, to say, I saw even today someone was saying, they are intending to have some blackout, power blackout, maybe in the evening. Those kinds of imaginations. Okay. They are wayward.
We are still
Nobody's doing something like that. No, I'm telling you, those are wayward thinking, believing that the government of the day has any intention. We don't have any intention to disrupt. In fact, we want this process to be so smooth. She's talked about trust deficit. Those are the kind of things that we've been handling all the way through. It's like even the other day when we even had something that I was actually involved in processing. For instance, let me digress a bit. When you are having the computer misuse and cybercrime amendment bills, which were there were only 5 amendments. And you would hear people talking of many things that you even wonder, where are you getting these amendments beyond that which we processed? Okay. So the trust deficit and the belief that there is something negative that is going to happen. I want to tell Kenyans, I've always said, when you're given a half glass of water, please don't look at the empty bit. Look at the other bit that there is water, because you can be assured that. And in fact, I can tell you in these by-elections, the security apparatus, I think, are all up because I've been following about what's happening. There's enough security that will be provided. There's the aspect that is mentioned about violence.
Being used for malicious activities?
You see, Brian, even yourself now, you are on that aspect of just being trying to be negative.
I'm not negative. I'm just asking.
Because when I mentioned what is the purpose of police officers, it's to provide security and to make sure that there's order within the polling stations, and that people, if you have to, they are of course, they are going to be agents who are making sure they are going to be safe inside there. Right. Now, finally, there's something very important I want to mention, Brian, the aspect of what we witnessed recently, the aspect of violence, which we must be able to as all Kenyans, we refuse this aspect of politicians funding, or political aspirants, using violence sometimes to advance their being loved or their being chosen to be leaders into particular regions. Okay. I think going into the future... So
does that cut across, both government and...
No. Well, seemingly. I said aspirants. I didn't say whether it's the aspirants of this side or the other side, okay, right? I just said aspirants.
We've seen, government allied politicians campaigning in this
equally on the other side as well.
Okay. Yeah. Fred Ogola, IEBC here, it's been a conversation. We've had this conversation so many times, especially even on this particular set, trying to understand what exactly would a good IEBC look like for the Kenyan people. Right now, we have an IEBC in place. This is their first test in regards to getting, the trust that they need to be able to conduct the 2027 elections. If this goes wrong, how does 2027 look like?
Yeah, first of all, Brian, allow me to say that if you want to know elections can be unfair, I arrived here before them. I arrived here by 6. Now it's 6:52. They have spoken more than I have. They've taken a longer time. I usually think first come, first serve. That didn't work because the government has taken over, even the station, So I'm sorry that this is possible. So let him talk about the issue of justice. He could have said, Fred, you came early, can you talk fast? That's how justice can be executed.
I should have gone with
Put that aside. Put that aside. First of all, let me tell you something very important, that there is no politician who goes in an election wanting a free and fair election. This has been demonstrated everywhere in the world. Forget about even a democracy in the US. So telling me government wants this election to be free and fair, I'm sure that's not true. You're a politician. When you're running for MP, they start by saying, how can I run with this thing? It starts from there. Then if you can't run, then say, how much can I take without doing anything about? This is true, because election in Kenya is expensive, is chaotic. If you don't steal, someone will steal it, because you saw what they told Raila, that you didn't put agents, so your votes were stolen. That's IBC telling him. So all these things we have seen them before. Then of course you ask about IBC. As a governance expert, Brian, I wrote a book called Dynamics of Political Strategies in Africa, and I gave 13 indicators of a free, independent IEBC. One of them, physical security. If the state wants a candidate to win in Malaba, and the state is offering security to the IBC official. How independent are they? Physical security. Can you imagine, Brian, you want to announce me as the president, and the sitting president is the one who's offering you physical security, where you are surrounded by these men in blue, and they're telling you, announce Ogola now taona. Whom are you announcing, Brian? Let us be honest. I have studied this system.
So you want to say intimidation?
It's there. Nah. I was in Bomas when the Jungle Green policemen were in charge, provincial administration police. It's like Azimio had their time. When men in blue came to the hall, you saw the thing was going on the other side. And those pictures are there. So you look at day 1, day 2 in Bomas, those numbers don't lie. I'm an economist. Sheila, you know that. In day 1 and day 2, men in jungle green were there. It looked very orderly. It looked like Raila's presidency was being decorated or being prepared. When the certificate was moving to Ruto, look at the pictures. It was all blue. Kenya police took over. These numbers don't lie. And I want to say clearly that Kenyans, we are too clever to be taken for granted. The opposition has demonstrated enough grounds and evidence to show that there is something happening that is not becoming. That is true. Now, coming back to IBC, can they overcome the challenges within the sector and deliver? Because leadership is not about when things are orderly. Okay. Leadership is demonstrated when there is a crisis. A leader rises to a question. We've seen some people rise before. Some leaders came in and offered a good election. For example, you know, when IBC and Hassan was in challenge, that the first IBC to deliver election result of a by-election by 8 p.m. And for that matter, they really got the Kenyans behind them. Okay. Now, can IBC, within the circumstances...
We still got them out of office even before...
No, I'm saying that gave them credibility. You understand? Normally, you can gain credibility, then lose it. But let us give every moment credit.
I know you want to respond to that,
let me just go on and finish my statement, because again you're taking back to them.
No, I want to take a break. I'm sorry.
Yes. So
you're very bitter.
So what I'm trying, I'm not bitter.
You seem
no, there's no bitterness, my brother. I'm just saying the most one trying to say in the end.
I will provide the middle ground.
Yeah. In the end, what is critical is that Kenyans, your will cannot be bent if you allow it. Don't go to a polling station to do something that commits election fraud. Okay. Support IBC as a voter, as an agent, as a political party player, as a candidate, and we shall have it. Because even talk about government, Ruto is not going to be in a polling station. But if you Kenyan who is being told, do this, and you refuse to do the wrong thing, let's also be law abiders. Because I went to Japan. Do you know a blind man can cross a pedestrian crossing without being helped, because no one will cross when the traffic is red. Okay. So everybody must be a law-abiding citizen, not blame government, not blame so-and-so. Everybody play your part for free and fair elections.
Good. Free and fair elections, and of course that's the conversation you're having this particular morning. But you know, when we come back, of course, we need to answer the question, if a government candidate wins, does that mean the election wasn't fair and fair? And if an opposition candidate wins, do we say now it was fair?
We can't start like that. Let's do merit. After that, we do an audit, because you don't jump and say, if this one happened, there's no. All right. We will just look at it, what made them win, how did they win? All right. Rather than, we are better than that as a country. Okay.
All right, I want to take a break here. The photos, the live pictures that you're seeing on your screen, of course, it is people queuing and, making their case as far as these by-elections are concerned. That is Malava constituency and Mbeere North constituency. Of course, in Mbeere North, we do have our reporter, Edwin Bugwa. In Malava, we do have Timothy Simwa, who will be bringing us up to speed with exactly what is happening on the ground as the residents of those particular areas try to make their case heard and elect their representatives in different seats. That is also the National Assembly, the Senate, and the members of County Assembly. Different regions, 22 electoral areas nationwide, right? We take a break here. We'll be back in a minute.
Meme TV. you wait for your call to be picked, here is today's inspirational quote. Life is a roller coaster, full of good days and bad experiences. We must learn to accept finite disappointments, but never lose infinite hope.
Ili kuset never lose hope kama skiza tune yako, dial *811 *628#.
Why wait for fun? K24.digital brings you 24/7 entertainment. From the pitch to the playlist, from celebrity gossip to the memes you love. We're not just news, we're your non-stop ticket to everything cool and trending. So get in the know. K24.digital. Follow the buzz 247.
Ngoro yakwa nĩ gũkwambararia ĩkũgocaga hingo ciothe, we wanjamithirie irathimo ciaku ũgĩtũma nduĩke mũira wa ũtonga waku. Nĩ thengio nĩ marĩa ũnjĩkagĩra, ona ngũhĩtĩirie no ũthiaga na mbere na kũndathima, na nĩkĩo ndoiga ngoro yakwa ĩgũtũũre thererũkĩte ĩgũcokagĩria ngatho nĩ marĩa ũnjĩkagĩra. Rũgambi rũrũ rwa ngoro yakwa rũthondeketwo rũtuĩke wĩira kũrĩ andũ arĩa marakũhũrĩra. Rĩrĩa marakũhũrĩra magathikĩrĩria mawĩko marĩa Ngai agwĩkĩire.
Kwĩgwatĩra skiza tune ngoro yakwa, hihinya *811 *487#. Wĩgwatĩra skiza tune ngoro yakwa ta rũgambi thimũ-inĩ yaku ũmũthĩ ũkeni arĩa othe marakũhũrĩra thimũ. *811 *487#.
Kiumia gĩkĩ tabarĩra-inĩ ĩno tũrakũrehe hakuhĩ na gũkinyanĩria kĩroto gĩaku na gũkũrehera nyũmba o ũndũ ũmwe na mĩgũnda ya raithi ĩrĩa ũngĩgwatĩra ũhũthũ wĩ ta mũgũri kana mũigithia wa mbere. Oho nĩ tũkũnyitanĩra na mũtaaramu wa mbeca akũiyĩre thiri cia ũrĩa ũngĩkomberwo mbeca raithi. Thutha-inĩ tũingĩre kona ya ũgemu nĩguo ũheo motaro ma ũrĩa ũngĩbanga na gũthakaria nyũmba yaku hamwe na mangĩ maingĩ. Ĩno ti tabarĩra ta iria ingĩ, nĩ rũgendo rwa gũthoma, kũũhĩga na gũkinyanĩria kĩroto gĩaku. Nyitanĩra na ithuĩ kiumia gĩkĩ wona ciehanda thaa 2 cia ũtukũ, na o ta mũtugo o mũndũ nĩ mũrore.
Which we call it the first battle for 2027. Like we say, it is a precursor for exactly what will happen in 2027, especially for the IBC as a litmus test. Issues to do with trust and, of course, the credibility of these elections are still coming up, but the process is not yet done. The democratic process of electing the representatives is actually happening at the moment. 1 hour in, members of the public are in different areas lining up to ensure that they cast their vote, and will be live until that last vote is counted. All right? Of course, we continue the conversation here. Sheila. Yes. Let me come back to the issue of the IBC because, it's quite heavy. And I just want to read a statement by the United Opposition, one of the United Opposition leader, that is Rigathi Gachagua, in regards to what is happening in Narok North. Of course, he said, it is upon you and your commission to get the trust of the people of Kenya. Your credibility is on the line ahead of the 2027 general elections. The Narok town violence ahead of the 27th November 2025 by-election is within your knowledge. And, 9 hours ago, he did post and say, I'm now without an iota of doubt persuaded that this regime has gone mad and has lost its moral compass, throwing caution to the wind. Heavily armed police officers and state-sponsored militia have stormed the home of our DCP candidate, Honorable Douglas Masikonde, in Narok town and violently attacked him and his agents who are undergoing training. It is now clear that the plans to stuff ballot papers are complete and our agents are being intimidated to subvert the sovereign will of the people. This is an attempt to deny the people of Narok town their constitutional right to elect a candidate of their choice and to force the UDA candidate upon them. This particular statement, what message does it send to the larger public with, putting in context this particular election and the credibility of it?
I think it's difficult to sit on this set and assess whether or not what Rigathi Gachagua is saying is true or untrue. As you can imagine, there's a lot of interest in him, of course, anticipating that this will not be a fair process. It could be one or the other. So one, it could be that, there's something, for example, he says that his candidate there was legitimately attacked by security forces. I mean, if that is the case, then that is very, very unfortunate, because again, it goes back to add into this conversation that how do we trust that this process will be fair. Then there's the other part that you can anticipate that he would be saying this, just in anticipation that we suspect that anything could be happening. So he's just trying to give the list of possibilities. I think what I've always said from the beginning of the campaigns for the by-election is that, first of all, IEBC is independent. You need to underline, cross-check, highlight the word independent. And so it should operate independently of whatever else is going on. It is within the constitutional right that there are candidates who are aligned to the government, right? That is quite normal. They're supposed to run for these elections. However, I think what was also unfortunate is we should go back and check what the Constitution says about certain state agents involved directly in campaigns. There could be a bit of intimidation going on there when you have a whole government machinery coming up, and even people who are not supposed to be, civil servants who it's not very clear that the Constitution allows them to be campaigning, who are hard on the campaign trail. And things like that, when we are not really following what the law is supposed to be, it casts, even if there's nothing to worry about, it brings up this level of mistrust that you're expecting that there will be something wrong. So in fact, you're giving the opposition so much material to work with, even if it's going to be free and it's going to be fair. So I think there's a balance here. There's a balance of course, this is opposition. They want to anticipate and claim that it's going to be all hell and nothing, because they're preparing grounds for just in case this doesn't go our way. Then we will say, that there was something that was planned prior. But there's also the concept of the state. We have seen that the state is really overreaching. If you ask me, I'm seeing so many civil servants that I'm wondering, what does the Constitution say about you being this heavily involved in campaigns and by elections?
It's been quite a number of them.
It's been quite, and it's everywhere. You can't even accuse one or the other. It's been everywhere, where now we're getting to the point where are we really following the Constitution here? Because what are they doing on the campaign trails? And whether we admit it or not, this has really been the muscle of, is the government going to carry the day, or is the opposition or the will of the people going to carry the day? The most interesting example for me, because I think places like Mbeere are quite clear, it's either opposition or it's government. A place like Kasipul is very interesting because you have the ODM candidate and then you have an independent candidate on the other side. The independent candidate is also just aligned to the government anyway. There is no difference. And we've seen the case where you've had the UDA local fraternity going to campaign for the independent candidate. Then you have the national UDA fraternity going to campaign for the ODM candidate. And it's beautiful because you're like, this is democracy at a very beautiful level that we are witnessing. So we see how it plays
wins,
out.
It's a win-win.
I mean, they're still aligned to the government. But then you see some of them being very confused and saying, but you're confusing us. They're so used to everything going in one path or the other. And I think that's beautiful because we are just developing our democracy. What I worry about is in cases like this, because we're talking about trust, can we please try to stick to the Constitution? And what does the Constitution say about certain state agents that are being heavily involved in the campaigns?
We'll come back just a minute. I want to cross over to Malava, and of course my colleague Timothy Simwa is on standby to bring us up to speed with the situation in Malava constituency, where the voting exercise, of course, did start this morning. I just want to understand that. Timothy, I can see you are in one of the polling centers. What is the latest? What can you report to us this particular morning? How is the turnout? What are the numbers? Good morning to you first.
We are in one of the 198 polling stations in Malava constituency. This is Malava Primary Comprehensive School. The process picked up very early in the morning by 6 a.m. as the IEBC had announced. All the polling, most of the polling centers had already opened, and we are just in one of the polling stations within this premise where members of the public have already turned up for the exercise. That, of course, we understand it's taking place in 6 other constituencies, including 17 wards and, of course, Baringo senatorial race. As you can see, the process is fairly calm. Voters are coming in one after the other just to cast their ballots, and after which they are also directed to leave the premise. And from just what we can observe is that quite a number have already voted, and of course left. And so far, so good, and why we can report that the process appears to be seamless up to this point. And it involves a little bit of just confirming your credentials of whether or not you are a legitimate voter. You meet the requirements as the IEBC regulations just before you're allowed to walk into the polling booth to cast your vote, after which you leave. There is a fairly good number of Malava residents that have turned up for the exercise from what we can actually see. Of course, there is always a tradition in which by-elections normally witness low turnout in terms of people come out to vote. But then we understand why that this is a high-stake by-election, not just in Malava, even in other places. And that could explain why there is quite a high number of people who are coming in just to make sure that they can be a part of this exercise. It has been a rigorous campaign of at least 9 candidates who are seeking to be the next legislator for Malava constituency within Kakamega County for the next 1.5 years, just before the general election of 2027. And in a recap, Amwai, we understand that this seat fell vacant following the death of former Member of Parliament, or the late Moses Malulu Njendi, early February this year, which of course has occasioned this exercise, like I said, and 9 aspirants have expressed their interest to succeed the late Malulu Njendi. And of the 9, Amwai, 3 have already bowed out in support of other candidates. So basically, we are left with 6. But nevertheless, the IEBC announced that their bowing out came a little bit late. So their names still remain on the ballot paper, despite the fact that they have already, chickened out, for lack of a better word, of the race to leave the other 6 to contest. So we have 6 at the end of the day who will be seeking to replace the late Malulu. We are not very far from the constituency tallying center, which is Malava Boys High School. That is the main point where the aspirants plus their agents will be congregating before the end of the day to exactly hear what will be happening going forward. Of course, expecting the IEBC to announce who eventually will be the next Member of Parliament for Malava. Amai, I mentioned that this has been a high-stakes by-election. Why? We have seen incidences of accusations and counter-accusations, especially from 2 camps. The camp of DAP Kenya, of course, which is represented by Seth Panyako, and we are told that he voted a few minutes ago at Lunyu Primary School in Manda Shivanga Ward, that is his home ward. And yesterday at night, we saw a number of social media postings coming from his camp with a lot of allegations. This is information we cannot authoritatively confirm, but we are waiting probably for the security apparatus to make their comment. They have also said that they'll be giving an official statement after visiting some people they allege were injured after being attacked in one of the hotels somewhere in Kaborengu, just within this constituency still. But like I said, there has been a lot of misgivings about what could be happening to sabotage the process, but the IEBC has been clear that this exercise will be free and fair, and if anyone has any complaints, has seen anything out of the norm, they have every right to knock at their doors and express their dissatisfaction. The other candidates, of course, UDA's candidate David Ndakwa, we are also told that he'll be voting this morning at Vulupi Primary School. That is his home ward. Remember, Ndakwa has been representing West Kabras in the Malava County Assembly, rather Kakamega County Assembly, I beg your pardon. Before now expressing his interest to become the next Member of Parliament for Malava. And to be fair, the race has shaped to become more of a two-horse race between the UDA camp and DAP Kenya camp. So at the end of the day, Kenyans and other observers will be waiting to see exactly how this race pans out. Malava constituency, as we conclude, has at least 94,417 registered voters, and it's actually the highest in Kakamega County. So today we'll be, waiting to see what number or what percentage what percentage of the voters will be actually coming out to cast their votes to determine who becomes the next Member of Parliament for Malava constituency. So we'll be here to see and observe and let Kenyans know what exactly will be happening. In terms of security, we have seen quite a high number of police officers who are manning this polling center. This is just to tell you that they're not leaving anything to chance, bearing in mind that there has been a little bit of simmering tension between opposing camps and all these counter accusations and counter accusations like I mentioned. At this point in time, Amwai, let me give our colleague who is in Mbeere North constituency to let us know exactly what is happening that other end, where we also understand that a by-election is underway, where members of the public or other residents of Mbeere North constituency.
So far, how do you assess the complaints you had about possibility of interference, say through goons or insecurity? What is your assessment so far within the first hour of voting?
Within the first hour, there's been no incidents has been reported. I have checked with the people in Siakago, around the town. I've checked with the people around Ishiara, and here, as you can see, the situation is calm, and therefore, my assumption is that if all goes well, we should get an incident-free polling day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns about the roadblocks that have been erected along the roads?
Well, I heard the story about the roadblocks, which the particular report I mentioned about the roadblocks, saying that they were elected from around Mwea, which is in Kirinyaga County, coming all the way to Embu. I think it is a good thing because if the police are serious, then they should be able to pick out any bad elements that may be coming from outside the county to come and could disrupt the process.
All right.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
The side yesterday said that it is you in the opposition who are planning to plant goons and blame the government for it.
We have no intention of doing anything like that. In any event, as you can see, you will see here where we are. We cannot plant goons because we know we can almost predict the result. I have voted here since 1974, and I can tell you, I know the voting pattern. I'm very, very confident, and we have no reason to even imagine of bringing goons that could cause disruption, cause intimidation, and fear, and discourage candidates from, voters from coming to vote.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. The Democratic Party leader, Justin Muthi, they are now heading to the polling station to see whether his name is...
Of course, that's a DP party leader, that is Justin Muturi, has just spoken to the members of press and is now moving to the polling station where he'll be casting his vote. He has addressed a number of issues. Of course, he has said they are confident as the opposition that they are going to also win this particular position, and of course they are not they don't have any intentions, of course, as they were accused by their competitors, that is Democratic UDA, of course, accusing them of planning to plant some goons to disrupt this particular exercise. Of course, now Justin Muturi has entered the polling station ready to cast his vote right now.
We are live in Bear North, where Justin Muturi, of course, is actually in the process of practicing his democratic right when it comes to voting for his preferred candidate in this by-election. We also continue the conversation here. Like we say, it is real and real-time ground reporting. Here in studio, we do the analysis of whatever we are reporting on the ground and the process itself until the last vote is counted today. I was to come to you, Sheila. I was to come to Kitu. Let me understand before you even, get to engage on what Prof had said and also what Sheila had said. You are a member of parliament. You're talking about 6 constituencies that have not had representation for, a period of time.
Correct.
What did they miss, especially for people of Banisa, Ugunja? What did they miss?
Quite a lot of things happen within Parliament. First of all, some of which I will say, some I'll keep it for now. But one of the things that happens, don't forget that Parliament is, despite the fact that they do the oversighting, they also participate in budget making processes. So there are issues that are required by, in your like if you need some bridges, some roads, some emergency or very needy issues that needs to be addressed with the leadership within the executive. And then following up those particular items or projects or infrastructure needs within the budget making processes or the various committees within Parliament. So when you have a leader amongst yourself and you have priority needs, you as a leader then take the lead in following up those particular projects within the various structures within Parliament. I think that is actually the most important one. Okay. And so sometimes when you are not able to have a leader within your own representation in Parliament, indeed, it becomes very disadvantageous. Okay. Even
so
in terms
would
of
we say the people of
development.
Banisa, I believe we are talking mostly about issues to do development to some extent?
Yes, development. That's what I'm saying, infrastructure development and those kinds of things. There are those that generally government picks them. Okay, when the general assessment, when the budget making process still happens within the lower levels, so like it started in September, which will culminate next year in June. But along the course, there is also you as a leader. There are those very pressing needs that you also identify, and so those are the kind of things that you're able to bring afore and run with the various ministries and tell them, no, well, let me see the priority projects that you've brought. And when you notice, you say, no, part of the things I've noted is this may not be priority. In my view, with interactions with the people who gave me this, I have noted the priority project is this. And so that is how sometimes they get the funding, they get to be funded along the course.
Will they ever recover?
Yes, of course, they will catch up, and I know we've been, that's why I said it was quite disadvantageous, and that is why we needed to have these by-elections done as soon as it became vacant. Okay. But of course, the challenges that we had with, setting up the IEBC commissioners was one of the things that, of course, delayed this process, and that was the complaint. Even most of us were saying that it becomes quite unfair when a particular section of, and it's a right anyway, constitutional right, so when they don't have representation, is quite unfair. So I feel there will be a catch-up, of course, that will have to be done. Affirmative action definitely might need also to be done along the course and look at what are some of those things. But of course, quite a number of them will have been covered, but as I said, priority. Sometimes when you have the civil servants, the officers who are on ground assessing things, it also sometimes slightly becomes a bit different when also we go in there as leadership, because as a political leader, because people tell you this is actually our need, maybe there's something else that they identified, you can be able now to say, yes, this is also critical, but let's give priority to this one.
Okay. Live pictures, just a moment, I comment on this one. Live pictures, of course, from Mbeere North. Justin Muturi voting, of course, in this by-election in Mbeere North during, of course, trying to, of course, I believe he has finished voting to elect a leader that will represent that constituency in the National Assembly. Like we said, Mbeere North was heated. Has experienced quite a heated campaign in the past few weeks with different leaders, and of course both opposition and government are camping in that particular area to ensure that they put a case for their candidates. I don't know if we can listen to Justin Muturi. I believe he's speaking right now. If you can be able to get that. Yes, let's listen into Justin Muturi. He's finished voting.
We normally see by-elections, people don't take it seriously. What do you tell people to wake up very early?
We have mobilized people sufficiently, and we've told them that it is as important as a general election, because the determination is the same. It's to elect a representative of the people. Yeah. So we expect that, well, even though generally in the country, voter turnout.
And of course, that is Mbeere North. Like we said, real-time on-ground reporting, sharp analysis here in studio, trying to make sense of the events today and the process itself and what it means for the country moving forward. Before we crossed over to Mbeere, of course, I had Bernard Kitu. I can see you raising your hand. Of course, finish.
So first of all, very impressive on the way K24 is reporting really live on ground. And I assured Kenyans, and I said earlier, that we had a great interaction between the Committee of Parliament that handles commissions within the Republic of Kenya, and we had discussions with the IEBC how they intend to run the by-elections that were forthcoming. Okay. I want to, to talk about the involvement of the security apparatus. By the way, behind the scenes there, if you would have gone right to the gate, you would have noted that there are police officers who have been stationed there to manage chaos and any kind of rioting. It is very good that you've had Justin Muturi saying there is peace and order. When I mentioned earlier, and I had my friend here trying to, create aspersions like, when the involvement of security officers, creates what, the negative, vibe that he was trying to put across. No, you did.
You can say what you want.
So the thing is, the involvement of the security apparatus, the IEBC requests for a particular number of police officers whom they need to be able to secure various places, and also to provide orderly movement of voters as they come in. They are being guided very well. Nobody is being intimidated. And by the way, the imagination that any government of the day wants to always create, a way where they want to bully people is not going to happen in the government of William Ruto. What happened in Narok, for the benefit of everyone to listen. No, listen. What happened in Narok, for the benefit of everyone to listen, is when you are vying, you usually give a plan of where you will be campaigning from your start of the campaign to the very end. Particularly, IEBC is very keen on the last days. What they did is they entered into a place where they had not put in as part of the places they are going to campaign. And so they want to just create chaos and look and get sympathy to look for, like, we are being, the police officers are blocking us. But the truth of the matter is, it was not in the agreed, harmonized campaign schedule. Okay. All right? So I think it was very important to say that. Finally, I want also to discount what Prof. earlier said here. Dr. Ali did say that that the credibility of IEBC will be on the basis of the timeline that it's going to take for them to be able to report the results.
No, I didn't say that.
No, you did say that.
I didn't say that.
No,
please, you actually hinted that. You hinted that.
We cannot sit here.
You mentioned that it happened in the past.
He was referring to 2020.
Yes,
to 2020.
I want to say
2013. I beg your pardon.
I didn't say that.
No, he did
actually
mention
the one that was
I
led by
said
Hassan.
Hassan team used that to get credibility. I didn't compare.
What we want is credible
let's
results
be honest.
to be done.
You
I mean,
can't-
where IEBC
you
is
can't,
going
as
to
member of
run,
parliament, come to
where
national
IEBC
TV
a minute,
to spread
Fred.
propaganda.
Where
A minute, Fred.
IEBC
No, no.
is
Brian,
I'm going to give you a minute. Yes, yes. Listen.
You'll be given your time
You
to
have to tell him to stop.
You'll be given your time to
No, but
respond.
you-
I'm
No.
going to say-
Allow me kindly.
You
We
can't do
are not
propaganda.
we are not voting here. We are
Yeah.
just making
No, but you
analysis, so we
can't
will
do
not get into
propaganda on that
chaos.
television as member of parliament.
And
No,
I'm
no,
going
no.
to
The kind
give
of
you.
MPs
I
we
will
have.
give you an
No,
opportunity
you
to
cannot
respond to
try
No,
that.
but I have allowed him 3
Yes.
times,
Yes.
and he continues doing it.
You
No,
have an
no,
opportunity
it was
to
the
respond.
things that you mentioned. That is why I
cannot-
want to put it
I
right
cannot
and clear.
allow
You will
you-
get your time
I
to have
cannot
a
allow
rebuttal.
Give me a minute kindly.
My time cannot be
You
given
will
you
be
to
given
lie
a time to
on a
rebuttal.
public television.
Good.
Mheshimiwa.
You'll be given
Respect
time.
yourself.
You'll be
Okay.
given
Okay.
time
Fred,
to
Dr.
rebuttal.
Fred, kindly
No,
a
I have to
minute.
tell him.
So what I wanted
from
to
now,
say,
say the truth, my
what I
brother.
wanted to say is the IEBC must deliver very credible election today, where the results will be very verifiable. There will be no dispute. And what I'm happy about the most is that there is no chaos happening within the polling stations across.
Okay. It is still 7:29, so
That's
still have a
important,
long way to go. Dr. Fred.
Yeah, my submissions are the following, that the delay in these elections, like Bannister, was created by the Kenya Kwanza government because they're the one who came and dismissed IBC, and that's on record. We're on television here. They're the ones who went to parliament and disbanded IBC, and they have brought it when it was convenient for them. So that's the
Wait a
fact.
minute.
The second thing is that you ask a question about Gachagua's claims in Narok, and you're saying whether it's true or not, and I was saying that no, there's a time when Gachagua said some things which were not true in the media, and then later he has claimed back the title of the truthful man. So now it's upon you to compare. Is Gachagua can be the main source of verification of what happened? I'm sure that what we could check is that did the MP go to report in a police station these incidences? Because in Kenya we want people to be fed on the truth, isn't it? If he didn't report it, then it's an incident that does not matter to him.
Okay.
If it is reported, IBC should have to take that again to Kasipul. There's something that happened, Brian, that was very disheartening. That some people were killed in Kasipul Kabondo because of the violence between the two candidates. Then ABC finds the two candidates 1 million each, but did not care about those families. You know, sometimes...
What should have happened?
You know, can you imagine if you lose a relative in an election contest, and then the IBC finds the candidates, and the money is paid to IBC? Has the families that were injured, who were killed, have someone look for a compensation for them? Because you see, some of these things we just talk about, it's about leadership, it's about government fighting over each other and parties, but there's a normal Mwananchi who had nothing to do with that thing. Maybe somebody was just on his way going to work or is going to look forward to eat.
Okay.
So I'm trying to say this way IBC has to come in. The third point I have is that the electoral code of conduct is there. Can IBC give a report that was followed in Malava, followed in Narok, where Mr. Mwa is talking about, followed in Mbere? I'm happy to see my chair of the People Restorative Commission, Justin Muturi, being honest man and saying that there's no incidents, isn't it?
Okay.
And I'm happy that right there, we hope there's no incidents because of expected. But we usually see, generally, Mount Kenya tend not to have a lot of violence in election. I'm saying generally.
Generally.
But you see, for us to...
Okay, so we wait for Kasipul?
Wait for Kasipul. Then the other thing I wanted to talk about is that, you see the issue, what is at stake here, why you see people accusing each other, all these big wigs, there is some implication depending on the outcome. For example, if Gachagua wins nothing in Mount Kenya, question will be, are you still the kingpin? You understand?
Okay.
If Kalonzo doesn't deliver Magarini, people will say, can you actually win a presidential election? If Musalia Mudavadi and his team, Waklangula, does not deliver to UDA, the question comes the same. If Natembeya delivers, he becomes the supremo. So this thing is not just about the election which is going on among
So it is not about the individuals
no,
actually
it's
contesting
all
for
about
these particular
ego.
seats?
And this moment I miss Baba.
Why?
Because some of these crybabies we are seeing here, all these big, we are calling a president to cry, Baba could have actually pointed out the issues, but he could have put the foot soldiers on the ground. Some of us have been serious foot soldiers. Like, for example, you cannot go to Kondele and say, like it was said in Mukambani, Ruto said in Mukambani that Kalonzo has no vision, isn't it? If you said that in Kondele about that Baba has no vision, there you, my brother. You cannot leave Kisumu in good peace. So I'm trying to say that the issue is that we miss Baba in some of these crybabies, but also the absence of Baba, like Sheila was saying, has created a bit of some democracy in some areas. So I'm not saying missing Baba is anything one to think about, isn't it? But I'm saying as we cry, we also can wipe our tears with a few things there and saying now everybody must sell their vision to Kenyans. Everybody must come and tell Kenyans what they can do for Kenyans rather than hiding under somebody else. And you know, even if you look, for example, you are not mentioning something critical. Matiang'i is saying he wants to run for president. I've done analysis. A governor for his party, UPA, has been impeached. You understand? Now there are 2 by-elections for MCAs. Someone is on MCA, isn't it? Matiang'i, if he does not deliver those 3 seats of MCA, he'll be asked in a united opposition. If you can deliver 3 MCAs in your own area called Nyamira, your governor gets impeached. Can you be president? I'm saying that this election is not more even about the people doing the votes there. It's more about...
So the MCAs under which party exam?
UPA. The governor
is under...
No, don't listen to that. UPA is on public knowledge that UPA is Matiang'i's party. He is the one who put the governor, Nyaribo, in it's called what? This county is called what? Nyamira. That party is his party. In fact, people had told him to come from UPA, then join the United Coalition Jubilee with UPA, isn't it? But he chose the shortcut, take Jubilee. If he's Jubilee Party, why didn't Jubilee Party field a candidate in those areas? What I'm trying to say is everybody, even Mheshimiwa here, everybody's under pressure that are you the supremo you think you are? This is a big question. So I'm saying this election is not just about people. For example, should UDA win in Mbeere, Ruto will walk like a king and said, I'm back. Even if he gets 40% of the votes from Mbeere, he'll say, I have 40%. So it's about ego, it's about hubris. It's not too much to do with electing these people.
All right. Sheila, I want to look at something that we've mentioned in terms of why are we having these by-elections. One of the reasons has been the death of an individual, which is sad. There's been the nullification of results and, of course, also issues to do with the appointment to cabinet positions. So to some extent, we are making these by-elections intentionally. And we are looking at it and be like, okay, so the cost of by-elections in this country, what exactly is the cost? Now, we not just focusing on what we are doing today, but also the by-elections that we've conducted before. Immediately, some of the members of parliament and the Senate were actually appointed into cabinet. Why do we get to that particular point?
Why do we get to the by-elections?
Why do we appoint individuals in cabinet to create a vacant intentionally and cause a by-election?
I think that's a pretty straightforward concept. In the case of, let's take the latest example, Ugunja, for example. I mean, when the Ruto's government went into an agreement with the opposition, when they created the broad-based government, part of the negotiation was that they pick individuals to represent from the opposition side, and that is what created the vacuum. And I think it was at the opposition's own discretion to decide who they wanted to fill these different positions. So, as a result of that, some of these areas then therefore remained vacant. And it's not the most, let's say, efficient way to do it, because they would have taken anyone else within the party circle to fill these positions. But again, like I say, it's at the discretion of the opposition to decide who they want their best soldiers. As they always say, they wanted the experts. So maybe the experts were the ones who were already elected in the positions, and they wanted to send nothing but the best soldiers forth to fight for them. And that's how they ended up there. I think, in the previous system, it used to be, I remember somebody like my father was a member of parliament and a minister. So you had this dual role that was going on, and that's not the case anymore. And it goes back to the conversation we were having before about having, you can see that some of these experts who were put in cabinet are struggling a lot to stop being politicians. In fact, some of them have been very vocal about it. I remember one of them, I think down from our region, was saying, even by the time I was being put in the cabinet, they knew I was a politician first. So, I mean, I cannot abandon politics. But I wanted us to, in terms of, because I like being solution oriented. So when we discuss this issue of trust, do we trust the government? Do we trust IEBC in the electoral process? this question of having involvement, direct, heavy involvement in the election, I think we need to dissect it. We need to check, what does the Constitution say about their involvement directly in politics, in campaigns, as they have been doing it? What does the Constitution say? And who is supposed to regulate this? Who is supposed to discipline them and tell them, hey, Prof, or hey, Mheshimiwa, you're out of line. You're not supposed to, you're not allowed to be doing this and that. And if there's somebody who's supposed to be regulating this, what have they done? What are they doing? And how do we stop this? Because for me, it's one of the weakest links towards generating this idea of trust, right? So if I watch you making a mistake, it's like a police officer, it's literally a traffic officer is watching you making a traffic offense, and they sit and they watch. And then the question becomes that, why are you watching them make a traffic offense? And yet, if someone else tries to do something else that is also an offense, then they get reprimanded. You cannot have selective justice going on. So then the question is, once we have this idea that you will have ex-politician or ex-members of parliament going in to become cabinet, is that the best way to do it? Or maybe should you say, okay, we need to pick people who have not been elected because they prefer remaining in politics and not being, in cabinet, so we have a clear difference. That's a conversation that we should start having. That we need to have.
By the way, Brian, just to interject, William Ruto's mindset normally is elected leaders are more important to work with because they have people. So that's why when he picked Ruku to become a CS, he knew that all the people who voted for Ruku will love him.
Is it because there are people they can
but I'm saying he's
the
done this. Look at the run up to 2022. He took most of the Mount Kenya MPs to work for him, and that's what made him popular. And it's very strategic, by the way.
And I think that's okay, but then the question is, once you've been given the job, what is your job description? What is your mandate? What are you allowed to do? What are you not allowed to do? What does the Constitution say? And where do we find this fine line? I think he's allowed to pick whoever he wants. There's nothing wrong with that. But then the question then becomes, because it's been a huge debate that for the first time, a lot of people are wondering, and this is, I mean, if you let misinformation, or if you don't let the right conversation go through, then you find that there will be public discourse that maybe is not justified, right? Because a lot of the opposition now is hitting at them and saying, but why are you blatantly allowing Constitution to be violated? Then you also have other people who are saying, no, we can interpret it in different ways. It doesn't necessarily say that that's not allowed. So the question is, what does the Constitution say? What does the law say? And if there's a violation of the law that is going on, what is being done about it, or what is not being done about it, and what can we say about that?
All right.
Brian, just to maybe contribute on this, where is the cut line of saying that you're being political? Yes, you are a cabinet secretary. What you find many times, what you find with these cabinet secretaries that were nominated, you would notice, first of all, they were elected by the people. Which means back in the villages, when there were so many of them, about 30 or 40 or 50 who offered themselves to campaign, or amongst the 100,000, 200,000 people, they emerged amongst them. So they must be having some unique values amongst themselves. And look at those that came really to join, from the opposition, that formed the Grand Coalition. They are smart fellows. They can articulate. They can be able to reach out to the people. They can articulate government programs that wants to be done. Yes, for example, the Honorable Mbadi, John Mbadi. You would see Mbadi easily gels, goes where you can even find him. He's here in Akakan work. You find him. He's in Mombasa Town Hall, able to synthesize the very complex, financial policies, which we did not have before in the cabinet secretaries that were before there. All right. So the issue is the president had the window
they get
to choose.
now start campaigning for individuals in elections.
Well,
it's about how
that is what I'm asking you.
Communicating their docket, that is given.
That is what I'm asking you. Where is the cut line of saying that if I'm in Mbere and I'm still explaining the government policy, where is the problem with that?
Not the problem. The problem is not them explaining.
Is it that if I stand in a political rally and I explain that this is what we are doing as a government, that is where...
Okay, allow me.
I think if you could find a clip of a cabinet secretary campaigning for a candidate, and you'll find so many of them endorsing and saying Mheshimiwa Nani is the one we vote for.
We have Honorable Ruku actually,
Let us
who was
please find a clip
as late as this week, actually campaigning for a candidate in Mbeere.
Where in Mbeere North,
yes.
his home turf.
Yeah,
yes.
And he started the moment the vacant position. So the IBC announced that they are going to conduct the by-elections. He started that particular moment, hitting out and saying this is our candidate.
Yes,
you're not going to win this.
That's where he comes from.
That is where he comes from, but he's not supposed to do that.
We need to have a delineated conversation and say this is the cut line. That's what I was asking you.
Is it not provided for in law?
It is not clear. It is not clear. It's not cut line.
Let me explain. First is resources, isn't it? A cabinet secretary cannot leave Nairobi using wind going to Mbeere. And then at the moment when you saw the motorcade, which was in Mbeere, the motorcade in Mudavadi was in Malava, isn't it? It was not a private motorcade. It was a motorcade for government.
Did you confirm that? Sometimes you
make
statements that are not...
You asked me to confirm.
If being a cabinet secretary, you don't have a vehicle, you don't have vehicles that you can use.
Says at the moment. I'm stating statements.
It was it was me actually who was speaking, so I was just giving you a window to just give a review and then you go back.
Is it me speaking or him? I can leave for him if he's the one speaking.
No, just continue.
You're just giving
it's my time. I'm asking him. Let him,
allow the professor to finish his point.
So now, what I'm trying to say, Brian, first of all, we talk about resources, isn't it? Forget about his statements, because you can be in a public function and talk about something for government policy, but if it's in a campaign, have you used private resources or you've used public resources? Because the reason why they are stopping people from, government officials from campaigning is that, first of all, he used the trappings of power. When he was there, look at the security that was heavy in Malava. Look at the ones in Mbeere. They were government security. Because now, for somebody like Panyako, he has no government security like this guy having. So you disadvantage him by having more security, and he does not have them. Because we are looking for a fair playing ground. And IBC should see this, because the only letter in IBC that does not make sense is the letter I, independent. Boundaries is there, isn't it? They are a commission. But if they were independent, they were supposed to come, because Sheila asked, who needs to say it? IBC should come out with the electoral laws that should be enforced like a code of conduct. For example, in Kasipul, they use violence to find these people, isn't it? How comes in Narok, they have not said anything? Malava, nothing. Mbeere, nothing. Because we are looking for something that the law should be applied across the board. Then now the issue of saying that Mbadi has been good articulating the national agenda, it simply tells you why Kenya Kwanza has a problem. Because Raila Odinga was supposed to become president. They say Raila's team cannot work. Then they have taken the very team. But even without the team of experts, the way they are said, on economic matters, there are some things Mbadi have said that if that's what they believe is the best in articulation, there's a problem. Because Mbadi said that the Kenya shilling is optimal as 129, isn't it? So that we can get exports. The biggest export countries, their currency is weaker. Because how does the currency get stronger? When you export more, your shilling gets high demand, or your currency is in high demand, so it's being bought by other people to buy your goods, and your currency gets stronger. The interest gets lower. And then you talk about balance of trade. As an economist, I've listened to Mbadi. Mbadi is simply an accountant. An accountant are postmortem people. This is how the economy was taken to death. How can he not find education if he's doing that? People are suffering here in education. Healthcare, there's a problem, isn't it?
Okay.
Social protection, there's an issue. Food security is a challenge in Kenya. So if those are the best and brightest of these people to take us from the so-called third world to first world, then we are not getting there, because Singapore used the best and brightest to take them to the route to Singapore.
So you're
but
saying
how can you take us?
Our Singapore dream is not coming
Singapore, listen, Singapore Airlines can take you to Singapore. But Shakahola Airlines cannot take you to
Brian,
Singapore. You
I
can only
don't
go to
think
Shakahola.
to allow him to
you
continue.
can't promise people Singapore.
We had a discussion that we are talking about.
Then you tell us that is the best and brightest
I don't think
the pictures you're allow me kindly.
Facts,
Pictures you're seeing on the screen, of course, voters there in Kasipul constituency, queuing to be able to make their statement and, of course, elect their representative in the National Assembly. Of course, this follows the death of their member of parliament who was shot dead here in Nairobi. Sheila, when we are having this conversation, Kitu here mentioned that we might not see intimidation, especially with the Kenya Kwanza government, but some leaders who are allied to the opposition claim that their security has been withdrawn in attempts to try and intimidate them, especially Boni Halwale, who is actually a sitting senator, George Natembeya, who is a governor, and we also saw Natembeya being shot at some point when he was actually campaigning for the candidate Seth Panyako in Malava. Where are we? What exactly do we look at?
I mean, I think it's the oldest trick in the book, right? It's always, and I'm always amazed that any time whoever gets in power, security is always withdrawn. If you remember when Ruto was vying for presidency, he also had his security was being withdrawn and all these things. So I think it's the oldest trick in the book. Everybody complains about it. They're up in arms. When they get there, they do exactly the same. So, I mean, for me, it's one of the oldest tricks, and it's always a difficult one because, I mean, rightfully so, you're also allowed to withdraw the security if you feel like there's something you need to investigate. So I think that should not be shocking news. I feel like it's the one thing everybody's always like, my security has been withdrawn. Now that we are fighting in opposition, the day opposition will get in power, they will withdraw the security of whoever is sitting there.
So it is always a cycle.
So for me, it's always a cycle. It's neither here nor there. It just formulates part of theatrics or part of legitimate. Or it's a part of legitimate, because it's very difficult to assess. Maybe they're allowed to have reasons to withdraw your security, to have investigations. Yeah. So for me, it's neither here nor there. I hope that cycle stops. But so far, it's the easiest, quickest way of, of showing I'm in power and you're not.
But Sheila, there's something here we should not miss.
Yes.
Brian, this is clear.
Yes.
If the government officials like CSS cannot campaign, can governors, even if they're for opposition, allowed to campaign for other candidates? Or, I don't know, sometimes we can always be taking sides, but to be objective, if Natembeya is a governor of Trans Nzoia, which does not cover Malava, what are the codes of conduct that allows it? Because let's just be honest, because in God we trust, but the rest actually have to bring a bit of some evidence.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Are we allowed, for example, if you are a governor of a certain county, using your the resources of Trans Nzoia, can you transfer those resources to go campaign in another constituency? Because then you can find the people of Malava can vote for somebody, not because of something good for them, but they can vote because they are voting because Natembeya has said. Okay. What if that leadership does not take that county to another level? I'm sure when I was in the US in New York, I saw that within New York City, Mamdani was competing with Andrew Cuomo. I was campaigning for Andrew Cuomo for reasons that I don't want to explain here. But in the end, I saw that the people from Philadelphia were told, no, you can't cross over the bridge, the Brooklyn Bridge, to come to influence the elections in New York City.
All right.
Can we still also allow people from Malava, people of Mbere, people from Narok, to actually make their decision to know what is important for them when Sean says priority? Who can lead us in this process? Because those things
will that not limit individuals to just...
I'm just trying to ask because
it points to just what we've been saying before. Clarification is very important.
Right.
I think we need to have very clear guidelines on saying, if you are so and so, you are not allowed to do this and this. Because once it becomes a gray area, then you ask yourself, okay, when a CS could say, now I'm putting down my CS hat, you can see me, I'm in a pro box, and I'm campaigning as an individual, I did not do this. And then somebody else will also say, I am not allowed to walk around without my full security details, I do not want to be in violation, so I have to have my convoy, even if I'm going to visit somewhere. So we need clarification of the law.
You're the member of parliament here, so we're sending you to the National Assembly to go get those amendments and the grey areas. Allow me to, because I want to wind up the conversation.
Prof is the one who has been talking the entire of this time. Now, yes, it has to be in the Election Act. Most of this, anything, even when I had Prof here saying that there were, the violence that happened in some, I think that is Kasipul, and he mentioned that then there was action that was done in that particular place. The one that happened in Narok, nothing was done. I just wanted to inform him that there was a reporting that had to be done through the police for the IEBC to be able to act. All right, and it is not that, it is not in the law that once you've punished the aspirants, then those particular funds that are gotten from there should be used to compensate those the families.
Actually,
that's what you said.
They should consider
just give me time. You will have time to respond, Prof. So what I was saying is all of this has to be in the law. What does that say? Okay. We need to still expand the electoral law and also to put it more clarity on what exactly is campaigning in as far as the civil servants is concerned. Even if, let me tell you, the civil society would have gone to court long time ago if they knew there was a law that had been flouted by those whom you are claiming right now here as the experts of the conversation, that they have flouted, the CSS have flouted, or particular PSS have flouted, because it is, and I kept asking from the word, where is the cut line? Where is this clearly demarcated? Clearly, when you go to court, you can actually be able to say, this is the law that has been flouted. So it's neither here nor there. And I want to agree with that. These are now things that we need to fine-tune as a country, because if not, it is a concern. So what do? It has to come through Parliament. So finally, I wanted to also say that I had someone mention earlier that one of his leader is very happy that he was honest on what he was talking about on ground. I just wanted to say, there's nothing to be honest. It is the facts that are happening on ground. They would have really wanted to talk of anything negative right now that's happening within the country. But guess what? The government and IEBC and the leadership of this country wants credible elections, and all of us want credible elections, and we want all Kenyans to believe in this government. And finally, just to give
this government or in the IBC?
No, it's all of us. It's the security apparatus.
All right.
And you and I.
Let's allow
right?
to brag.
All of us want to have a good, credible elections. Finally, I want to still help my friend Professor here.
I like help.
Whom I heard him talk about and trying to cast, to trivialize the very big dream that we have as a Kenya Kwanza government in delivering this country into a first world. It's the same statements that you mentioned. And initially, I know we used to come here and you'd really be having very, very different views when you used to talk about whether you're talking about the housing program, whether it was share. You remember he was very little. But right now, these days, he's come down. And even now, you'll be talking about the 5 trillion road networks. I know right now he's being a bit harsh about it. But in a few years, you will be saying, okay, you've tried. Because President William Ruto is surely delivering. And I want to tell you, Prof, and I bet you that in the next few years, Kenya is going to be a first world. And it may not even.
How many years are we giving this particular declaration?
Brian, I'm sure
the president, we need 5 trillion shillings. We are looking for 5 trillion shillings, and that's why the president said that then we have to be, we have to be creative on how are we going to get this. And he says that we are going to create 2 funds. It's going to come into Parliament. We are going to have a lot of discussions about it on how we are able to create this fund. Once that fund comes through, of course, that is the road infrastructure. There is the issue of the dams that the president said that he wants almost literally every part of this country. The 15% arable land that right now we are tilling, we want the 85%, so that we can be able to have all these lands to be tilled, because Kenya is largely an agricultural country. So that is a space that we also need to run with. Technology, on the other hand, is something also that is of great interest, and so many other areas that we think can be able to transform.
I was at Parliament on that particular day of the State of the Nation address, and I remember some members of Parliament from the northern parts of the country are protesting and saying, the president did not really touch on them as far as infrastructure is concerned, and also some of the roads that he wants actually to get to construct, and what their pressing issues are in that particular region were not really addressed, so they walked out in protest of that. I'm totally out of time. Let me allow Sheila.
Brian, it's very important for me to respond to that. That's a very important thing. You cannot just let go. Just very briefly, Brian. The statement that was just a summary. You and I know the roads that are being done in Northeastern. There are quite a lot. If everything would have been placed by the president on his address, it would have been a 5-hour thing. It was a summary. Okay, so, and they know the kind of amount of money that have actually been put in Northeastern. It's a lot.
Okay.
So it was a normal reaction that happens. All right. But when you go through even the budget items that are going to come in the next one, you'll be able to notify that the country is being balanced in terms of its development.
1 minute, final remarks, Sheila. What do we expect with these by-elections, and what should we look forward to as a nation? What do we learn from this?
I think I would urge everybody involved, from us as voters, because we also have responsibility today, the IEBC, to stick to its independence. The country is watching, a lot is at stake. And then finally, for also the government and the security apparatus, I think let's try to understand that the Kenyan life is more important than any of these things that we are discussing here. Let us protect Kenyan lives. Let us give everybody enough space to perform the duties that they're supposed to perform. And then hopefully at the end of the day today, then we'll be able to assess where we are. But I'm glad that we are exercising democracy. I mean, we've seen places like in our neighbors where they're shutting down the country and killing everybody in the name of doing elections. So congratulations to us as Kenyans that we're able to sit like this, disagree the way the two gentlemen with me here are disagreeing, because we all love Kenya and we want the best for Kenya. So everybody stay calm, go and exercise your democratic right and stay peaceful.
And they are exercising their democratic rights right now. We can see Kasipul, where it has been heated in the past few days, but this particular moment taking to the queue to make sure that they have their voices heard. Prof, final remarks, 1 minute.
My final remark is to tell Kenyans that democracy is not just a right to cast a vote, but democracy is a right to live a dignified life. So when you see somebody who can't give you that dignified life, please don't give them your vote. And it should not just be a process for the leaders. Democracy should be for the people. But here we make it more for leaders. So I'm asking them to then lastly, don't listen to people who give you economic ideology within our work. Kenya cannot be first world unless being acquired by the US. Kenya needs to be world class, not first world. Thank you.
All right. World class. So said world class.
World class, not first class. Because first world is to become joining US to become appendage state of the US. And as an economist, you can't listen to an MP against a professor of economics. You have to know where you get your reference.
Why would you say that?
That is very demeaning.
I'm an expert in economics. I'm an expert in economics. In areas of economy, listen to me. In areas of legislation, representation, listen to me. Give every expert their voice and opinion, because why do we have them if they cannot be used?
I think the pride of Prof goes beyond the roof, but I want to wish all the Kenyans who are going to cast their vote today, let's cast it, let's maintain peace. This is our country, a beautiful nation. By the way, travel across the globe, you'll find this is heaven. I want to agree with her. Let's protect our country, let's build values within ourselves and protect our country.
You see, she has a scar because of what happened to her on the street. So is it really heaven?
But she says, let's build.
As Kenya becomes world class, not first class.
Okay, thank you so much.
With all honesty.
Thank you so much.
Any economists who is serious will tell you there's nothing like first class in economy. We have world class.
I think, Brian, you'll have to end this. I think I ended it so well. You let my brothers here take over again. Now we're back in shambles. I finished this so
Reference to authority.
All right. Professor Ogola, thank you so much. Much appreciated for your time. Member of Parliament, Nandi Hills, of course, Kitu, thank you so much for making time. Sheila Olang, always a pleasure to have you here in studio. Yes, I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Of course, this conversation and also the coverage of by-elections 2025 continues here on K24 and Kameme TV. Like we said, we started at 6. We'll end this particular coverage until the last vote is counted and winners announced. Of course, I do want to take a break here on the program. When we come back, we continue the conversation and coverage. Just a reminder that our reporters are on the ground in different parts of the country. We're talking about Malava, Mbeere North, Kasipul. We also have, Magarini, whereby our reporters are actually camping there to make sure that they bring you up to speed real-time reporting on the ground as we try to make sense of that particular report here in studio with our analysts. All right, I take a break. We will be back in a moment.
Kameme TV.
Kameme kayuka moigi na Kameme TV tukinyitirira mathaga maitu turakurehera Mwijoyo Festival ne Jumamothi mweri 29 November haria Sports View Hotel Kasarani kwambĩrĩria thaa 8 cia mũthenya ũkũcemania na njata cia Wayne, Samido, Josega Tutura, Tonya, Prince Ida, DJ John Falme, Waja Asal, Sameiro Gunagia.
Deragwaru warothiraga watukanago akea. Kikimia timutimbi kwiro no mindokwe naganyola ma.
Kuigira Mwijoyo Festival ni Alibad, shirigigiri mwe. Kehigoine giri na magana matano. No gwele tigiti waku kuhitukira *672 *55#. Mlima meet Lakeside, one stage, mud fun.
Don't you just love a fun gathering? Hi, Ruth. Hi, Sarah. The chance to reconnect with your people, your passions, and the stories that bring joy to your home. From epic sports to the hottest local series and the best kids entertainment, DSTV makes wherever you are the best plan for the holidays.
This festive season, get your DSTV decoder for only 850 Kenya shillings today.
Alo, Mr. Mavela, Mr. Mandunya, Mr. Mavujing, Mr. Sababisha bana kijana wa mamake, siko solo, ceremony master, bonga nao.
Check, ba. MC Ghetto Child, but like 90s dance, allows you.
Ivan Mitchell Francis, IMF for short was it?
The ceremony master, MC Ghetto Child, plus
DJ Jazz 254, aka the musical judge.
So if you wanna catch a groove, wanna feel the siren vibe.
Cause a time at a bed il kwangore, kwesi ya kwesi by atanama no tiuye.
MC Ghetto Child sapana jembe teshi mtu wangu. 2 good hours hapo K24 Kameme TV 2 channel.
Kila saa to Juma pale hivyo K24 TV na Kameme TV. Kuanzia oya saa 5 hadi saa 7.
2 good hours of none of this and that. Local content mtu wangu, international content, my interviews am artists, local and international artists, them also audio.
Tumesema jo musical judge.
To cast their ballot and exercise their democratic right, making sure that their voices are heard and get representation in both the Senate, the National Assembly, and at the county level. Now, I do want to cross over to Kariobangi, where my colleague, whereby my colleague is actually on standby to bring us up to speed with exactly what the situation has been as far as the voting exercise is concerned in these by-elections. Let's listen in.
And right now we are at
All right, and of course, we'll try to fix that and get back to that particular coverage of what is happening in Kariobangi North, whereby there is also the by-election of a member of the County Assembly. Of course, this will be bringing you up to speed with exactly what is happening on that particular front. Of course, the ODM party very keen when it comes to capturing that particular seat. We've seen quite a lot of campaigns led by the Secretary General of the ODM party, Edwin Sifuna, and also the member of the
Kariobangi North Ward, where the by-election has already started, and right now we are at Marura Primary School. This is a ward that fell vacant after the death of Joel Munuve, who was the MCA in this area, and the IEBC officials have already started conducting the electoral process. And in this ward, there are 5 polling stations where we have Marura Primary, where we are at right now. There is Our Lady of Fatima, there is Kariobangi Nursery, there is Kariobangi North Girls, and there is Kariobangi North Primary School. And right now we are joined by one of the presiding officers in this area, and I would like Bwana Abdi, probably you can come closer and talk to K24 and tell us what is going on today. The exercise started on time, and what are you expecting within the day?
Yes, the exercise today we have, it's a 27th day, November 2025, and it's a by-election date. And we have started very smoothly with no problem. We have opened our polling stations on time, 6, all of it. And right now we are going very well. We don't have any problem. Security is okay. Everything is going very well.
Okay. Basically, can you explain to us the process when the voter comes in, what is expected of them, and what process that he follows later?
The first process, when the voter comes in, we have a queuing clerks. The queuing clerks check the number, the names, the first name, and he direct to respective polling station. Like this Marura polling center, we have 12 polling stations, and we have 11 queuing clerks who direct the voters where they're supposed to go and how to. Once he has his polling station has been identified, they can now go on the line, and we have marked very well the line. So they come to the PO, we welcome them very well. Then they go to the clerk 1, which is the KIMS clerk. Right now we don't have a physical register. We asked for the original register because identification must be ID original or a valid passport. Then to confirm to the agents, the clerk number 1 call out loudly the name of that voter, because the agents are from the locals and they know each other. Once they call out, he check the name, the face on the ID with the voter. Once he confirm that one, he requests him to put the biometric, because the identification right now is biometric. Once it's identified, then he goes to the next now, and he will be issued with the ballot papers. He or she votes, and they go out, and they marked by the DPO, the small finger. If it's like a women who have the, what is it called, ile urembo, we call it, we marked what is called the chill here. So right now the process is going smoothly. We don't have any problem for now.
Okay. Many times that biometrics sometimes fail or become a challenge. What is the situation right now? Have you faced that challenge yet, or things are just moving on smoothly?
Yeah, for now we didn't have any problem with the biometric, because we have even thought this biometric is the same biometric that we used in 2022. And 2022, the percentage was almost 100%, the success of that one. And also if the fingerprint failed, we have a procedure how to identify that one. What is called, first of all, is the biometric. If biometric you can't identify through biometric, we got what is alphanumeric. You put the ID number in the feed, you feed in the KIMS kit. Once the voter has been the information of the voter pops up, we again request the voter to put his fingerprint, because now when the first fingerprint, the biometric, the KIMS kit search his fingerprint or her fingerprint in the number of registered voters in that polling stations. Now the second one, when you identify through the alphanumeric, now it's come down to the 10 fingerprints of that voter, because when we are doing the registration, we capture 10 fingerprints of the voter. So now the second one, the second step, the KIMS kits now go down to his 10 fingerprints. So after they have been identified through alphanumeric, we request again the voter to put his or her fingerprint on the KIMS kit. And on that one, we usually identify. If not that way, we go another step now, what we'll call the face ID. Because when we are doing the registration, we took the picture of that voter. Through that one, we again identify through that face ID. If that one too failed, because some people, they took ID when they are young, if that one too failed, we call what is called a supervisor mode. The PO will go into to validate that voter, and that validation PO, you need to fill the forms, what is called KIMS validation forms, and that form must be filled and witnessed by the agents. And that once that form is filled, we request the voter to hold his ID or her ID under the chin, and we take the photo of that voter, and that photo is saved in that KIMS kit on the back end. Anytime it can be retrieved, the information. And again with that one, also the agent is going to witness that this fingerprint of that voter failed totally. And you know, voting is the right of every Kenyan. You can't deny a Kenyan to vote. So that is why we have taken all that measures to help Kenyans to exercise their own rights.
Okay. Maybe a last one from me. How many voters are registered in this ward specifically?
Yeah, in this ward, we have a total registered voters of 24,500. And in this ward, we have centers. We have 5 polling centers. This is Marura. We have another one at Kariobangi Nursery. We have 2 at Kariobangi Primary. and another one at Kariobangi North Secondary, at Kariobangi North Girls Secondary, and Our Lady of Fatima. At Our Lady of Fatima, we have 6 polling stations. At Kariobangi Nursery, we have 7. At here, at Marura Primary School, we have 12. And at Kariobangi Girls Secondary School, we have 6. And at Kariobangi Primary, we have 7. The total, we have 8 polling stations at this Kariobangi ward. Yes.
Thank you very much, Abdi. And that is Abdi Roba, who is the man in charge, the man representing the Independent Election Boundaries Commission in this specific ward. And he's saying that everything is going on well, that all processes are going on well. There is no problem with the biometrics. The digital systems are running on smoothly. And if I can just give a rejoinder, we have got 16 candidates in this specific ward who are contesting for this position that was left vacant after the death of Joel Munuve back in April 22nd April 2025. And among us, the 16 candidates, the front runners seem to be DCP's David Wanyoike, who has been really on the campaign trail, campaigns being led by the Nairobi representative of DCP, Rongo Nyakera, and also other leaders in the DCP party. We also have ODM's Michael Ouma Majua. Majua is known to be on the campaign trails, where even the ODM chairperson Gladys Wanga was here to campaign specifically for him, and also the ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna was also in this area, and also the women rep of Nairobi, Esther Pasaris, and other leaders from ODM party who want to basically reclaim this position. There are others like Kanu's Patrick Kariuki Nganga was earlier vying on the UDA ticket and later defected to KANU, and there is also UDA's Julius Maina Njoka. There also the KPP or Kenya Patriots Party, Geoffrey Owino Ogutu. So those are some of the locals or the contestants who really want to take up this position, and we're just waiting to see what will happen after this. And right now we are at Marura Primary. After here we'll go to Our Lady of Fatima, and at the end of the day we'll visit all the polling stations to see what basically goes on. Back to his studio.
All right, of course, that is Samuel Bataru reporting from Kariobangi North, bringing us up to speed with exactly what is happening on the ground. Thank you so much for that report. Of course, like we did say earlier, it is real-time on-ground reporting as we focus on analysis here in studio, trying to make sense of exactly what is happening on the ground. And right now, I do want to introduce my panel to you, and people that are going to help us make sense of events today, the by-election 2025, which we call it the first battle for 2027. We do have Eric Ragalo. He's a politician and a political analyst. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you.
Kimani Mwangi, political analyst, and of course, Kamau Wambiu, who is the chair National Youth Caucus. Kijana sasa.
Poa sana.
Umekuwa kwa campaign sana.
Sana.
All right, let me start with your assessment on so far where we are as a country when it comes to these by-elections. Close to 2 hours since the polls opened. What are you making of it?
Well, we are trying we will deliver the majority. I believe the United Opposition will deliver Mbere, will deliver Malava, Magarini, Narok. Where there is smoke, there is fire. That is why the government is also concentrating on these areas, because they know these are the hot areas. Okay. With the 55,000 registered voters in Mbere, they know that will be a sign of the discomfort, of the disinterest the people are having in this government. Okay. So we will deliver.
So you seem to be sure of deliver, but to some extent, we've seen leaders from the opposition casting aspersions in regards to the process itself, saying that there are plans to rig this particular by-election. So how do we deliver if at all we believe that the process is going to be fair?
Well, that is true, because what you heard them say and urging is saying that we need a free and fair election. That is what you are all asking for, because let the people decide. Why are you bringing goons? Why are you ferrying goons? Why are you bringing marked ballot papers? Why don't you let the people decide? That is it. All they're asking is for fairness in all these by-elections. If we lose, we lose. If we win, let us win fair and square, free and fair, empty ballots. Let us people queue. Let us people stay. Why are you ferrying goods?
What will look like how would we call a free and fair election. Is it when the candidate of the United Opposition wins, or is it if the candidate of the government wins? How? Because whichever way, whichever side of the political divide you belong to, people will say that was a free and fair election.
Yes, that's it. And let there be no discrepancies in the process. Okay. Let there be no hiccups in the process. Why are you bringing goons? Why are you bringing in ballot papers that are marked? Now, if we and I know, if all these things will be kept aside by far, let whoever wins, it will be free and fair. Let the people decide. A normal queue from 6 in the morning to 5 in the evening. Okay. Let the returning officers, the deputy returning officers, and the clerks and the agents of the competitors, let them determine and count those votes one after the other, where there will be no interruption of electricity and the lighting, where there will be no interruption by the police, just them closed in the polling station, and everyone else away, far from the polling centers and the tallying centers. Let the RO and the DRO be independent. Let them, deliver what they have been mandated to do by the Constitution as per the Act of the IEBC.
Eric, how does this, by-election seek to shape the politics of 2027? Because here we are calling it the first battle for 2027.
This by-election is going to legitimize the Kenya Kwanza government. It came in as the most popular government. It wanted to keep its popularity by force. And we are looking forward to see if really it is popular. But my target is on 4 major constituencies. That is Magarini, Kasipul, Mbere, and Malava, where it has been so smoky, and the few MCA seats in Narok and Kisa, where the battleground is basically legitimization of this government. And as 2007, when you had the 2005, when you had the referendum of Orange Banana, it was actually to legitimize the government of Kibaki then, and Banana lost terribly by over 1 million votes. This one is shaping up as the mini election. Basically, we are 17 months to the general election. When people say 2 years, it looks too far. It's 17 months to general election. Basically 1 year, because we are in November. November next year will be done, and now we'll be writing down. We already know who is going to be running, and 8 months to election. So basically, we are talking about 17 months to election. And that is already telling us how is this going to shape. Is Kenya Kwanza still owning the mountain? Kenya Kwanza want to wrestle Western? Is it having a foot in Western already? That's why Malava is hotly contested. Has Kenya Kwanza won the hearts of the coast? Are they fighting for the coast for legitimacy? Are they there already? Has ODM lost ground in Nyanza? And talking of ODM again, it was negative for ODM to leave Kilifi County and support UDA. It has always been known that the coast province was typically ODM zone. Second to any other person who will come, but ODM would always take. Saying by that, I mean the current governor of Kilifi County is ODM. So why would ODM support UDA in Magarini? Does it really work? Or rather, how does UDA support ODM in Magarini?
Oh, UDA support ODM in Magarini.
Yes,
yeah, I get that.
Would that really work for them? Why can't ODM go as ODM? Reason being, is UDA too clean to support ODM? So why is it then that UDA is supporting an independent candidate in Kasipul? Does UDA want ODM to lose Kasipul so that ODM loses legitimacy? So hence, looking like they are supporting ODM in Magarini, rather they are not, because which person from UDA went to campaign for ODM? Did you see Musale in Magarini? Did you see Weta in Magarini? But you saw Musalia in Malava and Weta and the other group. Why weren't they in Magarini? So they want ODM to wrestle the other side and fight it and lose. So could they be that they were lukewarm on Magarini, hence supporting ODM to lose to Gachagwa's party? Then ODM again loses in Kasipul, then ODM is termed lost, and it is an easy buy by whoever wants to run for the presidency. So ODM is pulled into a coalition by force. So ODM is losing the legitimacy by just having, it's normally said, when you take one potato that is rotten into a whole sack, the whole sack is gonna be rotten. So to me, UD is a rotten potato. And, so anybody want to come close to a rotten, is going to, you'll smell rotten even if you're not rotten yet. So you ask me, UDA has lost legitimacy, and they have to write down that they have to fight the 1.5 years remaining to bring back the people who it has lost. And that's what I'm saying to the viewers, that we are the people. We decide to Article 1. Okay. And if someone is not working for us, you let them go.
All right. Well, Kimani, before I cross over to Kasipul, just in a minute, because I'll come back and give you an opportunity to continue that particular point. Talking about losing legitimacy, does the ruling party have an opportunity to regain that legitimacy through these by-elections?
Well, I'll try to be as fair as I can to the government and say it is not a loss of legitimacy. I would call it more of an acid test to tell us how popular is this government. Well, in Mbere, it has put its best foot forward, used all the money that it could gain access to influence the elections in these by-elections. In Magarini, the government has done everything it ought to have done to support its candidate. To the government, it is a do or die battle. Because
what happens if they lose?
If they lose, it's a very bad indicator because it will strengthen the opposition. As Ragalo is rightly putting it, we are at a situation we were in 2005 when we did a referendum and the government lost terribly. We were very close to elections. It never recovered from that. Now, if the government loses in the 4 by-elections in the constituency, that's the end. Because
so
it
will
would
that
have,
be an indicator that you
and by government I mean, the broad-based government, the UDA ODM brigade. If ODM loses in Kaspul and Magarini,
it's done.
And UDA loses in Malava and Mbere, it is done for them because it would have told the opposition, we can easily win this thing. The opposition will get all the reasons it needs to unite because the chances are high that they are going to carry the day in 2027.
All right, I want to cross over to Kasipul and we come back and talk about exactly what is happening in the country as far as these by-elections are concerned. And my colleague, of course, Guma, is on standby with one of the candidates, or aspirants, I beg your pardon, in this by-elections, Robert Riaga, also known as Mani Bior, to try and give his assessment on exactly how the process has been, especially when it comes to matters voting and these by-elections. Is he confident of a win? Because that is an area that has been termed as a, it's a two-horse race. Where does he stand? Okay.
Okay, Amoy, thank you very much. Right here, we are still following up the by-election that is going on in Kasipul constituency, where voters have started voting, and the voting process so far, what we've observed, the voting process is going on well without much hitches to be reported as of now, and we are still following up. And right now, I'm being joined by the one of the candidates in this by-election, who is known as Mani Bior, and he's joining us here. Let's hear from him whether he had voted or is still going to vote, and how things are going on so far. Let's hear from him. Mheshimiwa, so far, what is your opinion on the current exercise that is going on in this by-election?
So far, so good. The process has been smooth. I want to thank our security apparatus. They've done well. As you can see, the old constituencies, there are roadblocks in all the entry of the constituency. I want to urge all the residents of this great constituency, let us observe peace. Let us vote, go home, and wait for the results in the evening. At the end of the day, we'll have a winner. Out of 10 participants who are participating in this by-election, we are going to have a member of parliament come at the end of the day. Mine is to urge the residents, come out in large numbers, vote for your preferred candidate, then go home and wait for the results.
Have you voted in this by-election, or are you waiting to vote?
I was at Kachieng Primary. That is where I cast my vote at 6 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I voted.
And what do you anticipate in terms of the outcome? Because in election we have winner and the loser. So what do we expect from you?
I am hoping that we are going to win these elections because we have campaigned all over Kasipul, and I'm hoping we are going to win. But again, I urge all the Kasipulians, let us, at the end of the day, there's going to be a winner. Let us support the winning candidate, who is going to be announced by the IBC later in the day.
So far, you've given, what have you given in terms of how the IBC is conducting the election? Are you satisfied so far as a candidate?
So far, so good. The IBC has conducted, it's a good process. My main concern was with the agents of ODM that are going to the polling stations and polling centers wearing their tag of their candidate. So I think that is the only area they can check out. Yes, so far so good. It's peaceful. IBC has done quite a recommendable job. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. And that is a bit from the candidate from Kasipul, Manibior. He has told us how the process has been, and he had already voted at Kachien Primary School at around 6 a.m. in the morning. And also some of the things that has been going on in the constituency is that there are police roadblocks in almost each and every point, entrance point. That's something we have observed. And security has been beefed up in this constituency, and they are checking vehicles that are passing along the highways in this constituency, as well as polling station. There are police presence. Where we were at Kachieng Primary School, there were security personnel that were beefed at that particular school, but later on they left, and so far everything is going on well, and we'll continue observing whatever is going on in this constituency throughout the day, and we'll give up a live update on the happenings from this end. Back to you in studio, Mai.
Doing a good job bringing us up to speed with what is happening on the ground. Kasipul, of course, constituency where they are taking the initiative to ensure that they get to elect their representative in the National Assembly following the death of their former member of parliament. All right. This is one of the constituencies that we are just talking behind the scenes and saying, you know, we've seen quite a heated campaign in that particular area. What does that mean for the ODM party in Kasipul?
You see, in an election like this one, it's funny because the three sides, they all have different prayers. ODM is praying that it wins in Magarini and it wins in Kasipul. UDA is praying that ODM loses in both.
Why?
And they are in the same government because it is better for them. It will be a message, you guys need us. You struggling where you fared very well before.
Which was your stronghold initially.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Gachagua and his team are praying that they win in Malava and they win in Mbere, because again they would have communicated that they now own Western as well as the mountain is impenetrable. UDA is praying that it wins in Mbere, it wins in Malava, and that ODM loses its 2 seats, so that they can tell us, you see, we have the mountain, we have the Western, you guys are struggling in coast, you guys are struggling even at home. So, musilete too many demands in these broad-based governments.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, whatever happens is that it is going to set the stage for 2027. If Gachagua wins in Mbere, and if Gachagua helps DAP win in Malava, Gachagua becomes unstoppable, especially in the mountain. He will tell all his critics that against all the onslaught by the government, we've won. And if they do so convincingly, then I can tell you that Gachagua will seal the fate of every critic he has in the mountain.
So
it will either be you line behind me, or I will sink you, like I've done to the government in Mbere. So Gachagua and his team then, they are closing their fingers tightly, praying and hoping that they win. And I have a feeling that the gods will be merciful to Gachagua at the end of the day. He's going to take Mbere convincingly, and the DAP is going to take Malava convincingly. Wiper will take Magarini, by the way. Kasipul, I still have a feeling that because of the love for Baba, the people might say it's too early to start antagonizing Chama ya Baba after we've just buried the graceful old man. So Boyd might win, not because he's the best candidate, but because people feel that they still owe Raila Odinga stability, especially in these moments. And now think about it, that sad enough again, the family has lost another child. So it might be a consolation for the family. Poleni sana. You can't be going through all these laws, and we go on to increase the loss by again denying you a seat when you badly need it.
Okay.
So I have a feeling that the people of Kasipul will gift Odinga's family the seat. Not because the ODM candidate is better, but because it is always good that when you've had somebody who's been so good to you, you don't pay them evil, even when they are going through misfortunes.
Okay.
Back at home, I can tell you for a fact that the fight in Mbere was totally different. It was, as Gachagua put it, you disgrace Muturi at the national level, then you come to disgrace him at home by taking away his DP MP, elevating him without asking him anyway. Then you come to take the seat. So that was a mistake that UDA made without knowing. To them, it was an acid test to prove that they still own the mountain. But by so doing, they made a mistake of pushing an enemy too far. You don't send Gachagua packing, then you send Muturi packing. When Lenny Kivuti was the last man standing, who should have been elevated, if at all there had to be a man to be elevated from Mbere to replace Muturi, then you fail to elevate Lenny Kivuti, who is more capable than even Ruku. You elevate Ruku, then you leave Muturi, Gachagua, and Lenny Kivuti on one side as your enemies, and then you go to face them back at home.
No.
That was, in my opinion, a very serious mistake.
All right.
Because you left it is like you come home, you attack, and then you leave the strongest sons unhurt, injured emotionally, but physically fit to face you. That is a battle I wouldn't have wanted to engage. And I think that is why Ruto, in his wisdom, reduced it to a family feud. You know, Gachagua invited him to go to Mbere because Gachagua is clever. He wanted it
So
to appear.
It would have been a Ruto Gachagua.
And you know, Ruto Gachagua now it is a home versus away battle. We have an invader who has come to show us he's more man than the sons of home. Ruto, in his cleverness, decided to reduce it to a feud between brothers. Kindiki, Gachagua, and their brothers, you go fight. You let the family decide who is right and who is wrong. Mimi sitaingilia mambo yenu ya nyumbani, which was a clever move anyway.
It was a mini fire, see fire, and those were some of the conversations that we got to see during the campaigns. And you see, you know, the deputy president, of course, putting his case, you know, to some extent. It didn't look like it was, because you could easily not get to hear the candidates that are actually vying this particular by-elections. But now you focus mostly on what is Gachagua saying in his campaign and what is Kindiki saying. So it becomes it is Kindiki versus Gachagua and all that. Did they do enough groundwork? Whichever side of the divide you want to look at.
Well, I think the president, and I'd rather want to correct my brother here, it is not UDA per se, it is the president himself who categorically made that mistake, thinking he is wooing the people of Mbere. And to add on what my brother here said, Roko was a member of parliament
on DP.
On DP. The party for the former Speaker Emeritus, Justin Muturi. This Muturi guy gave money to Ruko to become the member of parliament. You know, he did everything. And now here the president has come and wants to humiliate a father with a son. Now, with the people of that specific area, per se, they take too much offense where elders are disrespected in that level.
So you feel like the elevation of Ruku was a disrespect to Muturi?
That was a pure disrespect. This is your son, you have raised that boy. Because he had vibed before. The moment he was held by Muturi, he won. Now you umeshukisha baba yake, unapay the same ministerial position his senior held. That is humiliation of the highest order. And now you want to come now for that seat back at home. Let me tell you, the Mberians and the people of Embu and the people of the mountain and the nation at large, we take offense when elders are disrespected. Now, back to your question, I don't think if they did good homework. And I think, I want to say this Gachagua guy, he told you guys that the president went and studied about leaves and animals and, you know, insects. He went to study about politics. And that is why he even had to drop his candidate so that he endorsed this Karis guy. This Karis guy he has been a member of county assembly 3 times. He has resigned to be a member of parliament. So the people of Mbere North and that ward which was representing, and the Mbere North in general, at large, and the whole of Embu County, they know this guy. They know what he's capable of. They know, and also this Karis guy is a nice orator.
He's national.
His oratory skills are on another level. You get. I tend to believe that they did not do their homework very well, and they are then in turn the president brings a corrupt guy who is also not very good with oratory skills. So I think they in for it to lose big time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We are live in Malava constituency. As you can see on your screen, there's a vehicle on fire, and this is said to be a vehicle belonging to Seth Panyako's team. Seth Panyako is, of course, one of the aspirants in that by-election, one of the candidates in this by-election in Malava belonging to the United Opposition faction. Of course, and it is one of the areas that has seen quite a heated campaign in the past few weeks with the United Opposition, and also those campaigning for Seth Panyako alleging that the government is planning chaos in that particular region to some extent to try and intimidate them, and also just the issue of withdrawing their security. Right now we can see a vehicle on fire. The reports that are getting into our newsroom right now is that this particular vehicle belongs to the Seth Panyako team. Seth Panyako is one of the candidates in the by-election for the Malava constituency seat. Ragalo, what do we make of this, if at all what we are getting is anything to go by?
When you study psychology, you have three things. The effects of three things is three effects of fight, flight, or stick around. So when people are emotionally depressed, they reach a point of breakdown. They tend to cause havoc. These elections are emotionally depressive. It started quietly. The last 2 weeks has been very, very hot. Pressure went high at night. It's only that there's a video we can't show here, but it's all over online, of one person stripped through the night,
Yeah, I saw,
and being interrogated. So that creates a lot of emotion all through. You can burn as many cars you want, but please don't kill someone. That's all what I can say. A life of a human being is more important than a property. Someone will buy another car, but don't kill someone. But however, this is I don't know what has happened, but this is wrong.
Now, we are calling this the first battle of 2027.
Yeah.
And you see, we are just looking at it from the, IBC, how it's going to conduct it, how it's going to shape the politics. But now, if you look at the violence, what does that speak for us, to us, as far as the future is concerned?
It's not violence per se. It is what everything stopped with IBC. Not even the government, not UDA, not any other party. It stopped with it. Has the IBC chair gotten to have a press conference? Has he spoke to the nation? Has he addressed the nation? Even now, they should have done an address in the morning to the nation. This is our situation in Malava. We've opened, and this is what is happening. Have they done a mini address? No. Quiet. Where is the communication department of IBC? Have they done a communication to the press? Now you and you are talking here. That communique can come to the people. Have they even quelled the emotion that is there on the ground? No. Why am I saying it is IBC? The IBC article says, thou shalt not have anybody going even into a class stream to stand in for an election kura for someone. What am I saying? IBC should have everybody in place for the election. The situation where I am vying and I put my person into a stream to watch for my kura, he is vying, he does the same. That is goodmanship, where an agreement is done by when you wanasimama. But there is never a clause says that you should have someone helping you in election. IBC should do that 100%. Do we trust them? The matter of trust to IBC is what brings the problem now of us having even people standing at the roadside talking to you and seducing you for the last time. Hey boss, ukienda kupiga kura, pigia Eriko. That is wrong. But it is what happens everywhere.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be quiet and done with. IBC takes over and nobody comes into class. Wewe unasimamia nani? Mimi nakusimamia kura za UDA. Wewe, mimi nakusimamia kura za ODM. It should never be kura za ODM UDA unasimamia kama nani. It should be IBC doing all that. But we lose trust. Losing this trust is basically what my brother was saying here. When Kibaki lost, I would say Kibaki because it was his government. He lost the referendum of 2005. What did Kibaki do? He sacked Raila. When he sacked Raila and sacked the whole cabinet, what did he do? He brought in Orojode, Otieno Kajwang, and others. What happened? Those people who were brought refused to take the cabinet seats in respect to Raila. What would have Roko done? Roko is a guy who loves power and money and everything that comes with power. Ruto did the same thing. When Ruto found he could not work with Muturi and sacked Muturi, he gave Ruko the job. Roko knows Muturi is senior person to me, and he owns the party that I went through with. Just like Kajwang and Ojode knew, Raila is the person I ran through his party. What happened? He was given a job. Roko should not have picked that job. He would have refused to save his face and his name.
Okay.
He took the job. Now, the master has come fighting. Article 1 in 48 Laws of Power. You can never outshine your master. You can never outshine. And when it is seen that you look like you are talking too much or showing boastfully against your master will now remove all the articles of war towards you.
Okay.
This is what is going to happen to Roko today.
All right.
Will Roko save his face? He's also a one-term cabinet minister. Actually a half-term, because he's half-term. He is not going to be there even in 2027. It is done with him. He cannot win anything in Mount Kenya. Even a Kato Deep chairman, Roko can't win. He will never win.
But Ragalo, if the UDA party takes Mbere North, hypothetically speaking, if they do manage to get Mbere, will that not now give them legitimacy to some extent and confidence in terms of some other seats that they can actually win in future, even Ruku that we are talking about? What
is going to happen is already the area is shaped. The Mbere region will remain DPs. And let me say probably, not sure, probably the Embu County will remain DPs. The other party that will remain, like now, what I call Cumberland, and some part of Eastern Province and yes, Eastern and Northeastern will remain Ukambani, Wiper regions. I'm giving this because the regionalization is there. So Mount Kenya, per se of Mount Kenya East, which is from Muranga, Kirinyaga coming this side, will remain UDA region. That is the agreement that they'll have, which is going to happen. But will their coalition take the area? Yes. Will Gachagua have a better say and more say? Even if DP has a candidate, they will still need Gachagua to have a better performance on the ground.
That is why he has been there.
That's why he's been there. Even if DP has a candidate, they still need Gachagua for a better performance on the ground. This is what UDA was looking forward to. And if there's someone who was lost in the death of Raila, is Ruto. Ruto required Raila to come and win the election in 2027. Not any other way. And that's why someone said, and this was Nane Orengo who said, ODM does not need UDA. It is Ruto who needs ODM.
Okay.
And I'm telling you this, ODM must win Kasipul, and not just win nicely. If they lose, even if the difference will be 5,000, ODM has lost. If the difference is 1,000, the ODM has lost. This is what we call lose-lose.
Does that cement now their, fit when it comes to now the larger political scene,
yes.
especially in the
we are talking of Homa Bay County, the only county or region in Nyanza, Luo Nyanza, that has voted Raila 95% and above in every election. Even Sia County, where Raila come from, used to vote 75. That place used to vote and give Raila all MCAs and all MPs. It would come second to Mombasa, where Mombasa kuna siku walifagia mpaka wakakosa leader of minority. That's what would happen in what? But Homa Bay is different because they will always get some courier somewhere and other people who will come in and get leader of minority. But I'm telling you this, if they lose, if even Aroko loses by 1,000 votes, if he loses, I'm saying if he loses, ODM has lost. If ODM loses this seat, man, they should decide to run alone to save face.
Okay.
Or come to the united opposition to claim their legitimacy.
Okay.
Because right now, if I would talk to you right now, it is ODM who would be running the opposition. If ODM was there with united opposition today, even Mbere, you will find ODM guys taking over to assist them. It would have been better. But because they decided to go in bed, and I'm telling you the wrong people, they are losing legitimacy.
They are losing legitimacy.
And UDA would want ODM to lose.
Okay.
Just like my brother said, why?
All right.
So that ODM will come to them to save face. But even if they come to them to save face watamezwa, I'm looking at having 2 more parties coming from ODM. 2 more parties, they are coming.
So there are different factions within the ODM party?
They are coming.
Okay.
And wait and see. Within another 6 months, you will see a party. Next year, by mwezi wa sita, there will be 2 parties that would have come from this ODM.
Okay, we'll come back and talk about the 2 parties that might actually come back from that particular party, the Orange Party. But trust within the institution that is, entrusted when it comes to covering this particular election and ensuring that every vote counts and the voices of the Kenyan people are heard loud and clear. Right now, there seems to be a little bit of an issue when it comes to that particular trust. This is their first major assignment ever since they took office. Now I'm talking about the IEBC. Yet, what we've been able to see coming from the united opposition in regards to, casting aspersions to the process itself, accusing some of the IEBC commissioners of colluding with government officials in order to rig these by-elections in different areas. How do they regain that particular trust? Because the moment they lose this trust right now, 2027 seems to be, hanging by a thread.
The formation of anything, in whatever circumstance, is very important. The formation of the current IEBC was done through a rogue, some funny way of selection. It was not a bipartisan exercise. It was one-sided exercise. And
why would you say one-sided? Because we did see different individuals going
back to the former to the other election, 2022. We saw that there were 4 against 3. The Cherera 4. Those were the majority, but the 3 took the day. We still left with some questions to date, and a lot of things happened and transpired in between. But anyway, that is the past. And then now, we came in, fast forward, we have another selection of new commissioners, something that was so out of board. The selection of these people, the president did it himself with these people. It is supposed to be done in a bipartisan manner. You involve each and every party, each and every competitor, and everyone is supposed to have felt that they took part in that exercise. But what happened? The president just took it in for himself, gazetted the people. They went and the interviews were done and they were gazetted. Now, fast forward, we come into the continuous registration. The Constitution under Cap 7C of the IEBC Act 2011, it says that there should be a continuous voters registration. That should have continued from 2022. Each and every year, each and every financial year, IEBC is given and is given some amount of money. So where does this money go? What do they do with that amount or with that kind of money? Now we come into the continuous registration exercise. It was funnily done. It just started the other day, and then it was only zoned into one area. How do you expect someone living in Malindi and another one living in Zengu in Magarini? It's almost 200 kilometers. To come all the way and register as a voter. Even, the logistics that were put in between the voters registration were not, as it is expected. Now here we are in an election. We are seeing we are having what do we call this, fights, voters bribery. Why is IEBC, as my brother said, allowing all this to happen, and they are not even issuing a statement? And they are like, hey, we have been colluded, this is not us, and we want the government to keep off. We are independent. Okay. You get? But whatever is happening, we're just seeing things happen. Right. You get? Okay. We're seeing people, if at all IEBC is independent. Yesterday we had the opposition principals coming up with they were saying that there are ballot papers, 15,000 marked ballot papers that are being distributed in the specific areas of elections that are happening today. IEBC would have come up immediately and they're like, hey, come on board, please tell us where. We need to come in.
So they haven't had, they haven't called the opposition on board to be able to explain some of these things?
Exactly. Okay. Because politics is playing part, and let me tell you, This is very, very important, and these are very, even spiritually. We have there's a spiritual aspect with a significant aspect of number 7 in this country. This is a litmus test. Whatever happened in 1987, 1997, 2007, 2017, 2020, you know, even in 2017, an election was nullified.
Yeah.
You get?
Okay.
2027,
So
it is going to be normal.
We hope that everything is going to be fine. Of course,
let me finish.
I want to take a break.
Okay.
I come back. I continue. To Magarini constituency and listening.
Tayari nimewaeleza kwamba kuna visanga ambavyo vimeweza kufanyika. Nimeeleza Ngomeni, nimeeleza Midodoni, nimeeleza pale Markebuni, na kwa sasa naeleza mpaka kwa sasa tunavyozungumza Kenichonga ameenda pale kutoka Kanagoni, ajaribu kuingia pale na kutishia wengine. Kwa hivyo wale wahusika na IEBC iweze kuwajibika. Yeah. Tumejitokeza, tunafanya maamuzi kama jamii ya Magarini. Asante.
Of course, that is Magarini. Questions about the credibility and integrity of these elections have already started coming in, and that is just one of the candidates in that particular by-elections. I want to take a break here on the program. When we come back, we continue with our coverage of the by-elections in different parts of the country, and also analysis here in studio to try and make sense of exactly what we are reporting from the ground. I'll take a break. We will be back in a few.
Kameme TV.
In an age of fleeting headlines, depth matters. PeopleDaily.digital carries forward a legacy of genuine journalism. We bring you not just the news, but the context, the analysis, and the stories that shape our nation, for reporting that digs deeper and informs better.
I made kachumbari.
My name is Cliff and I made beef.
I'm Auntie Faith. I brought chapatis.
My name is Uncle Vinny. I made the best chicken.
Mimi ndiye mama yao na nimewapikia
Jamii Pishori Rice.
You people don't see my chicken here. Your chicken was best before Mom made Jamii Pishori rice.
Jamii Pishori rice, where quality begins.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
The family meets for AFCON 2025. To book your seat, dial *423# to get or stay connected to DSTV access for only 1,450 Kenya shillings or GoTV value for just 599 Kenya shillings. Live on Supersport.
A continued coverage of the first battle for 2027 by-elections 2025 for different areas conducting by-elections today in attempts to fill the vacant positions that were left either because of death of the occupants of those particular seats, nullification of the results, or appointment to the cabinet. That is quite a number. Now listen, we continue the conversation here in studio to try and make sense of the process itself. Different players here in the country. We have, of course, members of county assembly. We have a senatorial seat. We also do have members of parliament. Right now, I want us to cross over to Baringo County, where there is a senatorial race, and my colleague Winnie Twetok is on standby to bring us up to speed with exactly what is happening in Baringo. How is the state of affairs in Baringo as far as by-elections are concerned, Winnie? 9 p.m. What is the latest?
Naam, shukran, tunakupata kwa njia nzuri. Tunakuja moja kwa moja kutoka kaunti ya Baringo ambapo uchaguzi umeweza kuanza asubuhi mapema leo, na siku ya leo wakazi wa kaunti ya Baringo wamejitosa debeni ili kuchagua seneta, na hii ni baada ya kiti hiki cha useneta kubaki wazi baada ya kifo chake William Cheptumo ambaye alifariki mapema mwaka huu, na kwa sasa kiti hiki cha useneta kina wagombea 6 kutoka vyama tofauti tofauti. Na siku ya leo wakazi wa kaunti ya Baringo wameweza kufika debeni ili kuweza kufanya zoezi hili la uchaguzi. Na katika kituo hiki cha kupiga kura cha Visa Oshwell katika Baringo ya Kati, mji wa Kabarnet, nipo naye anayesimamia uchaguzi huu katika Baringo ya Kati, Bwana Serem. Karibu katika runinga ya K24, labda utueleze kufikia saa hii zoezi la kupiga kura limeendaje?
Asante sana. Kwanza ningependa kusema tuko na mwenzangu hapa, Deputy Returning Officer Gilbert Olekitirne. Kwa sasa nafikiri kituo zote za kupiga kura katika Baringo Central ziliweza kufungua saa 12 asubuhi. Na vile tunavyoongea kwa sasa wapiga kura wanaendelea kupiga kura.
Labda kuanzia mfungue saa 12 hadi kufikia sasa, labda idadi ya watu ambao wameweza kufika iko vipi?
Kwa sasa sitasema ni idadi gani, lakini baada ya 2 hours from now nitaweza kujua ni watu wangapi wamepiga kura na nitawaeleza.
Asante. Naam, ni anayesimamia uchaguzi hapa katika Baringo ya Kati ama the returning officer Baringo Central, akituelezea namna ambavyo zoezi la kupiga kura limeweza kuanza. Na tulivyowasili hapa ni kwamba idadi bado iko chini, lakini tunatarajia kwamba wakazi bado watajitokeza ili kushiriki zoezi hili. Na kufikia hapo, jina langu ni Winnie Twetok.
Thank you, Winnie. Of course, like we said, real-time ground reporting. There are reporters in different parts of the country bringing us up to speed with the situation and what is happening there as we try to make sense of that. And also just covering this by-elections all day until the last vote is cast and then counted and the winners announced. Before I took a break, coming to you in regards to the integrity of this particular election. Right now, we seem quite, a lot of issues, coming forth in regards to the credibility of these particular elections. How does that shape 2027, this litmus test for IBC?
Well, we say that things don't go wrong, they start wrong. The selection of the IBC commissioners was shrouded in a lot of controversy. There was even people who had petitioned the COND not to be named as the chair, citing his close relationship with the deputy chief of staff of the State House. And there was allegations of close relationship between senior politicians and other like 4 commissioners. So there was a perception that this was a friendly, it was a government-friendly set of commissioners with that could easily be manipulated by the government. With the chair having been, he had even to clarify that he is not a relation to Nanok. Now, so when you start with a deficit of trust...
Just let me cut you a little bit. Of course, Philip Oroko there, voting in Kasipul, is one of the candidates in this by-election. Of course, seeking the mandates to be able to lead the people of Kasipul there. He's casting his vote, being able to arrive there. And of course, our reporters are on the ground to capture that particular moment where he casts his vote and leaves the polling station. And of course, later in the evening, we'll be able to experience witness the process of counting the votes in regards to who exactly did win this particular election and not. All right, that is in Kasipul. We are live in Kasipul. Philip Aroko, an independent candidate, of course, voting, casting his votes to himself, I believe.
How can you vote for someone else when you're running?
Well, there's somebody that ran for office in 2013 with a deputy president. That they were part of the same country. And
in that polling station,
from what we heard,
nothing happened.
That was propaganda.
No.
But it was well crafted.
No, it was a propaganda.
It was not. It was on record.
It is not. By the
I've sat with Kioni himself.
We didn't mention names. You're the one that is mentioning.
No, we don't like that.
Okay, so we are talking about the credibility of this election. How does this shape 2027? And
So as I was putting it, there again, I said IBC started with a trust deficit. So then it was upon them to convince Kenyans that contrary to your opinion, we are not a government-friendly IBC. We can hold elections independently, we can ensure there is no rigging, and we can ensure a free and fair election. That is upon IBC. The ball is in their court. It is them to convince Kenyans. But then, two things happened before yesterday. So IBC told us that it is going to allow plainclothes police officers in its polling stations. Now that's very suspect. Coming from an IBC that has a trust deficit, and remember there is a recent High Court ruling disallowing use of plainclothes police officers to manage crowds, because it is difficult to tell who would be causing chaos if there are police officers who could be masquerading as goons and do that if they were misused. Now, when you tell us that you are going to allow plainclothes police officers in a blatant infraction of the law, because judicial pronouncements are part of law, because they form precedents to other judgments, and then you do that, you leave us wondering. You people, we had a feeling that you were selected preferentially by the government for their doing. Then you come and tell us that you're going to do something that is in complete violation of judicial pronouncement by allowing something that could be the start of chaos in polling stations. Then when there were allegations by the united opposition of possible voter bribery, the chairman was very quick to refute the claims without stating findings of their investigations.
Yeah.
Now, when you have an IBC that is quick to refute claims it has not investigated, an IBC that is quick to comment that it is going to break the law, so to put it, then you wonder whose bidding they're doing. And that is very wrong for IBC. It must understand that it is the distance between Kenya and the edge of a precipice where we could fall if it allowed elections that were flawed, because we saw what happened in 2007 when there was a feeling by a majority of voters that it was a complete rigging of that elections. So IBC then must remember that it has a near divine duty to ensure that there is not only a free and fair election, but peace and stability in the nation. And they are the midwives of this process. Okay. So then it is incumbent of them today to ensure that there is no cases that might be suspected, especially with their involvement of complicity with any side that might try to rig elections. Yes.
Right now, of course, what you're seeing on your screen, we are live in Kasipul, whereby Philip Aroko, of course, has just finished voting, leaving, I believe, the polling station. Of course, instructions did say earlier from the Cabinet Secretary Interior and National Security said, the moment you're done voting, you go home. But I believe right now he's about to address the media in regards to the process that has the democratic process that is being conducted in that particular area, and to give us to bring us up to speed with what his experience has been, and some of the expectation that he has as far as voting is concerned, and just the entire process. Remember, he's one of the biggest and front runners in this particular election, especially in Kasipul, which has been very heated and to some extent causing violence, forcing the IBC to fine them $1 million shillings each. Let's cross over and listen in to Philip Aroko.
That was concerned. I didn't see anything that is peculiar. But I hope everything is going to be okay at the end of the day. What is your expectation today at the end of the exercise? I expect to win. There has been some protests, issues of wounds, but so far we've seen everything is peaceful. Are you comfortable with how the security situation is? The security is okay. I haven't said any good. Maybe the people they say goons are voters, so it's a propaganda maybe. Yes. All right.
And then we're just a few hours into the exercise. Are you satisfied with the level of turnout?
Yeah, it's still early. We expect people to come. This is a pretty stream polling station. So we expect people to cast their votes without any intimidation. And we also need to protect our people when it comes to those voting being dead. Yeah, so we expect zero intimidation. Yeah.
Could you speak to, I've seen the turnout in terms of the number of it's older women.
Yeah.
Could you speak to that? There are no Gen Zs here. What's happening?
The Gen Zs will come. Their time is coming. So we give an opportunity to the older people. Cast their votes, they go home, then other people come in. The turnout will be okay.
Yeah. Because you got anything about possible voter diary?
I've heard it. Some are recorded. We will check some others as we go through and understand what people say. But I understand it's going on. So for those who are doing it, why would you bribe people to go if you're proper? When what comes? Bro, I will be the member of parliament, bro. I don't want to lose. I don't want to discuss the negative angle.
Your last message to the people of Kasipul?
The people of Kasipul, they must maintain it peaceful and focus on what is building our people.
And possibly, we've seen in the general elections, candidates would have their own center, maybe after here. Where are you heading?
I will check. I will walk around a bit and see how it is, because I'm allowed by constitution to walk around. So I will go around a bit to see what happens. Yeah.
And then are you able to probably summarize Muthi Jaluo?
Oh, Jaramogi, Jodalawa. Kura ogore maber, tika keto maratani. Okaneno gimoro marach as at now.
All right. We're having a conversation behind the scenes. That is Philip Aroko, of course. There he's just voted. Ragalo,
yes.
Aroko has voted.
Yeah, he has voted. My question is, can someone tell me from the UDA side if Leo Wamodende has voted in Mbere? Because that is one of the things that I really want to see. You remember during the death of Mutula Kilonzo, then we came in with the daughter. The lady could not even stand as an MP because she didn't have a voting card. She had not even registered as a voter anywhere in this country, let alone being a voter elsewhere, but anywhere. So one, this lady has never voted for any president. She had never voted for anything, even her own father. but she wanted to run as an MP. So that issue brought heat. It was taken to court. Definitely, it was going to court for no reason, because she was never going to be she cannot stand if you're not even a registered voter.
Yeah.
You can be a registered voter elsewhere and stand anywhere else in the country. That is allowed. But now it is interesting now again in Mbere. Mbere guys were being told, hey, this guy is not even a voter here. So my interest is to know, was it propaganda or was it real?
Okay.
And
so of course we have a report on the ground. We'll be following that, Edwin Bugwell.
Then I have also an issue with the IBC. When I was running, of course I've ran not once, twice, and still going to run many more, because I will be I will be the first Luo president in Kenya.
Amen.
Amen. And
all the best, my brother.
I'm not going to be happy with you.
That is what
you're laughing here. Amen. It's possible. My problem with IBC is, when I was taught the list of people or groups IBC can allow to observe in an election. They can allow the Law Society of Kenya to come as observers, other societies. There was nowhere when I was being taught that a police can come as an observer. They are not unionized or a group that you can bring in to observe. Especially now, a police comes in as a security officer, and they have to be uniformed, and we are informed that this police, this is going to be their function. Where did IBC sit down with the candidates and inform them, hey guys, because this is informed to the candidates, that guys, we are going to have non-uniformed officers coming, and these non-uniformed officers, this will be their function.
Okay.
Non-uniformed officers are not supposed to be part of an electoral process. Neither non-uniformed officers are a part of KCSE examination process, because examination also, we have police who brings in examination material and secure the examination material as they take them back. You will never see an ununiformed officer at the gate of a primary or a secondary school. Okay. So an ununiformed officer, what is their function? That brings me to thinking, what could be their function? And my function thinks dirty, and I don't want to think dirty. Okay. But the dirty I'm thinking, they could be there to help candidates that are looked like better candidates for the, whatever it is, to win. That is one. Two, Aroko here, he has voted. Aroko should be advised not to wear the kofia he's wearing or the top he's wearing. That is an electoral offense already. We are here to talk about what is happening. We are not here to support any other team. So if Aroko is wearing Otete surely, and is wearing a top written Aroko, who is telling him he's doing the right thing? When I was taught by IEBC, when I was running for MP Ruiru 2017, we were taught that immediately after election, 3 days after that, please, election is done. You don't even give out materials now. You have to finish before 72 hours. Okay. During the election day, the day of voting, please don't wear your party colors. Don't wear a top written your name. Just come wearing kitenge, for example.
What could that cost him before I cross over to Magarini?
If he wins, we are going for another re-election.
If he wins, you're going to
that's an electoral offense already. And that has been picked. You know, I'm talking about something people have picked. It has been picked. And this is the time people pick even small, I would say them nonsensical things. Things you think they are very small, but they are very important. And as we say, the elephant does not just fall. If you look at what makes the elephant fall, it's something very small. What? A kisunguru na kijaluo. Na kikuyu we call it. Hey, Jogwe go itagioneke.
Okay, let me cross over to Magarini, where my colleague Boniface Msangi is on standby to bring us up to speed with what is happening. Msangi, you gave us an update earlier, trying to paint a picture on exactly what was happening in that particular polling station. Right now, what is the latest?
Asante sana. Basi kwa sasa niko katika kituo cha kupiga kura cha Kanagoni Secondary, ambao kwa sasa junior secondary, ambao tayari basi wale wakazi wa maeneo haya wameweza kufika kwa wingi hapa kuweza kutekeleza wajibu wao kuweza kupiga kura. Na ni katika eneo hili ambalo basi liko katika wadi ya Ado, wadi mojawapo kati zile wadi 6 ambapo tayari basi ziko katika eneo bunge hili la Magarini. Yule basi mbunge wa chama cha DCP Stanley Kenga tayari amefika hapa na kuweza kupiga picha yake, kuweza kupiga kura yake na kuweza kuhutubia wanahabari ambao walikuwa hapa kwa sasa, na akaweza kueleza kwamba ana matumaini ya kwamba huenda akaibuka mshindi mwishoni mwa kinyang'anyiro hichi la kiyote 9. Basi ni juhudi vipi wakazi na tume ya IEBC ndio itakaoamua hapo mwishoni hapo kesho basi. Lakini vile vile pia katika kituo hichi tumeweza kushuhudia yule mbunge wa Kilifi Kusini basi Ken Chonga akiweza kufika katika maeneo haya. Basi ni hatua ambayo iliweza kuwagadhabisha baadhi ya wale wafuasi wa wale ambao tunaweza kusema ni wafuasi wa Ken wa huyo Stanley Kenga, ambaye hapa tu ni mita chache kutoka hapa tu maeneo yale ya Msumarini ndio sehemu ambayo anaweza kuishi. Waliweza kufika hapa na kuweza kumfurusha katika kituo hichi. Basi kulikuwa na segemnege hapa hivi na pia vile heka iliweza kutanda hapa hadi maafisa wa polisi wakaweza kuingilia kati na kuweza kumtoa katika sehemu hii na kuweza kutorokea maeneo mengine. Ni kisa ambacho kimeweza kuwagadhabisha wengi hapa na pia vile kuweza kuhatarisha hali ya usalama katika maeneo haya, lakini kwa sasa hali shwari, wakazi wameweza kufika hapa kwa wingi, na hiki ni kituo cha 3 ambacho tumeweza kutembelea kwa sasa, na ndio hapa ambapo tumeweza kushuhudia basi wale wapiga kura wengi ambao wameweza kutokeza. Wapo mpiga picha wangu kuonesha tu hizi ni miongoni mwa zile line ambao tayari zimeweza wakazi ambao wameweza kujitokeza kuweza kupiga kura katika sehemu hii hapa. Na pia vile vile basi nitaweza kuongea tuna baadhi ya wasimamizi wale waangalizi wa kura hizo, watuambie pengine hadi kufikia sasa pengine wameweza kuona nini katika masuala haya ya kura yanaendelea kwa sasa katika masuala haya ya kura. Kaka, unaitwa nani na ni kipi ambao umeweza kuona kwa sasa katika masuala haya ya uchaguzi hapa?
Asante, jina langu ni Yusuf Abubakar. Mimi ni Executive Director Haki Afrika na ni observer katika hizi by election ambazo zinaendelea leo katika nchi yetu ya Kenya. Tumetembelea vituo kadhaa. Tumeanza pale Marereni na tukaangalia hali ya security, tukaona security iko sawa. Tukaangalia access kwa polling center na polling station, tukaona iko sawa. Tukaangalia watu, ile process ya kupiga kura, tukaona inaendelea vizuri. Tukarudi tukaja Kanagoni, tukaona pia process ya kupiga kura inaendelea vizuri. Isipokuwa kuna tuhuma, wananchi wapiga kura wana wasiwasi kwamba kuna baadhi ya viongozi wa bunge ambao wanaingia katika vituo wakitaka kujaribu kushawishi wapiga kura kuwapiga mtu fulani. Na hapa kwa bahati mbaya Mheshimiwa Ken Chonga alifika katika Kanagoni Junior Secondary School na wapiga kura wakawa wana wasiwasi naye na ikabidi wamtoe katika polling center. Sasa wasiwasi huo uko. Tumepata pia habari kule Marafa kwamba wapiga kura wengi ni wakulima na wameenda kulima. Wanasema baada ya kumaliza ndio watakuja kupiga kura. Kwa hivyo turnout ya Marafa, Garashi, watu wamekuja kwa uchache hivi asubuhi kwa sababu wengi wameenda kulima lakini wanarudi. Pale Sabaki kwa Ndomo pia tumeona kwamba watu walikuwa na wasiwasi, lakini tumefuatilia ile process, tunaona inaendelea vizuri. Mapimo pia process inaendelea vizuri. Habari ambayo tumezipata kote ni kwamba mpaka sasa process inaendelea vizuri. Watu wana wasiwasi wa usalama, lakini hakuja kuwa na incidences za violence mpaka sasa, isipokuwa hii hapa tu Kanagoni.
Kwa sasa basi wale wakazi ambao wamejitokeza hapa na wale wanasiasa ambao wanajihusisha moja kwa moja katika usimamizi wa kura hii, wao unaona swala hili huenda likaathiri swala la uchaguzi wa huru na haki?
Sidhani kama litaathiri kwa sababu lilitokea katika nje ya polling center na mheshimiwa aliweza kuondoka alipokuwa amefuatiwa na wapiga kura. Hakuweza kuketi, kwa hivyo sidhani kama itaathiri uchaguzi wa leo.
Asante sana. Na basi kaka, simama hapa na wewe tuelezee, wewe ni mkazi wa eneo hili, unaitwa nani, unazungumzaje hali halisi ya kura hapa?
Mimi kwa majina naitwa Lazarus Karisa. Niko maeneo ya Msumarini. Nimejitokeza kabisa asubuhi ili kuja kupiga kura kwa sababu pia sisi tunapenda maendeleo kama vijana.
Nimeweza kuona vijana wakijitokeza wakisema wanaenda kura zao, wakiweza kufurusha baadhi ya viongozi. Unaona swala lile huenda likaathiri usalama, ama unaambia nini idara za usalama?
Upande wa usalama tumejaribu kukaa na tukasema kwamba tujaribu kujitokeza kwa hali ya utaratibu ili tuweze kupiga kura, ili yule ambaye tumepanga kumchagua iwe itakuwa hivyo.
Ni hali ambayo basi nashukuru sana kaka. Basi ni hali, wapo picha wangu wanaweza kuonesha tu hapa, pia ni baadhi ya kina mama wamefika hapa. Mama hujambo?
Jambo, sijuze.
Naendeleaje?
Naendelea sawa tu.
Lakini umefika hapa kupiga kura, ni kipi kimekushawishi wewe kuweza kufika hapa kuweza kupiga kura yako?
Kilichonishawishi ni kwamba nipige kura ili julikane ambaye atakuwa ni kiongozi.
Pengine mami, wewe hapa umefika hapa, kipi ambacho kimekuchangia wewe kuweza kufika hapa ili uweze kupiga kura yako siku ya leo?
Nichonishawishi kuja kupiga kura hapa ni mimi nipige kura. Haki yangu.
Haki yako. Asante sana. Haki yako kuweza kufika hapa kupiga. Haya mama, na wewe wasema vipi? Tazama tu hivi, umefika hapa kupiga kura, kipi ambacho kimeweza kukushawishi siku ya leo? Tazama hivi, tazama hivi.
Nimekuja kupiga kura. Nakuja kupiga kura sababu ni tafute hiyo nini yetu. Nitafute nini haki yetu tu.
Asante sana. Basi ni baadhi tu ya wakazi ambao wameweza kufika hapa basi kuweza kuhakikisha wanashiriki zoezi hili la kuweza kupiga kura katika sehemu hii. Ni wengi wangependa kuongea hapa na tayari washatoa kauli yao, lakini yote tisa basi tuweza kutembea katika wadi zote 6 ambazo ziko katika eneo bunge hili la Bagarini. Takriban wapiga kura 80,128 hivi watashiriki zoezi hili. Bado ingali mapema, lakini idadi tayari ishaanza kujitokeza, ishara wazi ya kwamba basi wale ambao wako majumbani huenda wakafika katika vituo hivi na kutekeleza wajibu wao kupiga kura. Pia vile vile basi tutaweza kuongea na baadhi ya viongozi ambao tayari washashiriki. Takriban wagombea 10 wanashiriki kinyang'anyiro hicho, akiwemo basi yule mgombea wa chama cha ODM ambaye ni Harrison Kombe, na pia vile mgombea wa chama cha DCP ambaye ni Stanley Kenga. Hawa ndio viongozi wawili ambao kwa sasa basi wanapigia upato mkubwa katika kinyang'anyiro hichi. Je, nani ataibuka na ushindi hapo kesho, ambapo basi kura hizi zitakuwa zimehesabiwa na kuletwa pamoja na mshindi kuweza kupatikana? Kutoka eneo hili la Kanagoni, jina langu naitwa Boniface Msangi, kwako studio.
All right, that is Boniface Musangi from Magarini, bringing us up to speed on exactly how the ground looks like at the moment as far as the by-elections are concerned, at the voting exercise, the democratic process of electing our representatives at the Senate, the National Assembly, and of course members of the County Assembly. Right now we are also live in Malava. Of course, Timothy Simwa is on standby on that particular front. Live pictures coming to you as members of the public exercising their democratic right to vote for a representative that is going to lead them in the National Assembly and champion for their interest. Justin Muthi, I'm being informed, is in Siakago, and that is of course in Mbeere North, whereby he already did vote, of course, and also issued a press, talking to the media about the process itself and exactly how it was, saying that he did not witness any chaos and everything was calm at that particular time when he did cast his vote in Mbeere North. And of course, he's one of the leaders of the United Opposition. Of course, they do have a candidate in that particular area. Seen quite a heated campaign in the past few weeks, putting their case to the people of Mbeere North so that they get to elect Newton Korisha, who is a member of the United Opposition and of course the party of the former Attorney General, right? We continue with our analysis here in studio, making sense of these particular events as they happen and try to look at how this particular process is shaping the politics of 2027 and just the process itself as far as the IEBC is concerned. One of their major assignments ever since they took power, they were sworn into office, I beg your pardon, and at this particular time, of course, conducting these by-elections is a litmus test on whether they will actually get the credibility and the legitimacy they need to be able to conduct the 2027 elections. And if they don't, how do they go into an election without the trust of the people? Kimani, yes. We've talked about how this election seeks to, shape the politics of the 2027, but we focused majorly on the constituencies. Why is that? And we still have 16 wards to some extent.
Right. At the constituency is where the battle is, because firstly, the investment of narratives and resources by the competing camps. And you could tell the vested interests in these seats, for instance. ODM is fighting for supremacy in Kasipul. I'm even shocked to learn that there are elections in Wandai's place.
Ugunja. Yeah, Ugunja there is.
Was it a direct ticket or there are elections?
No, there's an election.
There's an election.
And there is another one in Banisa also.
Yes.
But you see those two, no one is even talking about them. It is like they are not happening. Because in those two areas, it is like a consensus ODM is taking and UDA is taking. So there is no much vested interest in these ones. Now, when you come to the other four, there is a lot of competition. It's more of a do-or-die competition whereby there is too much investment in emotions, narratives. It is competing narratives. There is little to do with the candidates themselves than there is with the competing forces. In Magarini, for instance, it is ODM versus Wiper. Now, ODM is part of the government. So, simply put, it is a competition between the government versus united opposition. Now, if you come to Mbere, it is the same case. There is vested interest by opposition as well as by the government. If you
just a moment. I want us to cross over to Mbere North and listen in.
What is this guy doing in the polling station? He's been ejected.
No, it changed. If it was in contention, it just changed.
The Democratic Party leader and some representative of the
Unaambia nani? Pateka wewe.
running battles but maybe Muthi attacking
Unauliza mheshimiwa nini?
That is what is happening in Mbere North constituency. Was wearing yellow.
Lakini si mtu akutia influence, umevaa pate karas, umekuja yeza pate rinda. Na yeye amevaa nguo za pate rinda, amevaa nguo za pate rinda. We must respect the will of the people of Mbere without any influence from outsiders or from even the IMBC or even the locals. We need the voice of the people of Mbere to be heard without being compromised or people being intimidated. Ametoka Nyeri. The problem is we have people who are wearing party colors and they are bribing people so that they cannot so that they can divert the will of the people. People of Bera, there's the time to rescue your people. MCA from Nyeri. Chinga MCA from Nyeri. Na anakuja kupiga mheshimiwa JB. Anawamtumia mpaka nguni. Anakuja kumchapa na mheshimiwa amekuja kuona watu wake kama wanapiga kura vizuri.
Why have you kicked him out?
What we have told him, you cannot come into the polling area when we are donning party colors. Yes. If he is an authorized agent, or even indeed is whatever kind of person, even observer, he must come wearing other kind of clothes. Not coming wearing donning party colors.
But
I mean you can see I'm not wearing DP colors. Yes. But this is a law.
But sir, was it up to you to kick him out, or was it supposed to be
He
left to the
didn't
IEBC?
kick him out.
But
we did.
We have just told him to get out. Yes.
Did you raise the matter to IEBC?
Yeah.
Yes, but the guy is just meek. They are doing nothing. The presiding officer is behaving like a cow.
But party leader, you also don't have a badge. Are you also authorized to be here?
I'm a party leader. I'm the party leader. Yes. It's not even a matter of conjunction. Yes.
Okay.
You know I'm the.
There's enough.
Have you seen any other similar situation in another police station? Or any other concerning situations?
Other stations which are vested are okay. We have not seen this kind of thing.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you know the name of the member that you've chased out?
Kiroga. I know him. Since a boy, there are those guys I see. You always see them at State House waiting for handouts from William Ruto. Ni kijana ni mtu ya kupewa chai hawa. Namjua sana. Ni kijana toka Kenya.
Of course, Brian, that is DP party leader, Justin Muturi, at Siakago police station where there was a situation of unrest where they were chasing away an agent for the UDA member, aspirant, that is Leo Muthende, accusing or saying he showed up donning in party colors, which is contrary to AIBC regulations. So there was a bit of unrest, but the member for Chingawad, that is Kiroga Dhuku, who was here representing the UDA candidate, he has just left. And of course, now things are we out to check whether things will return to normal and whether there will be such occurrences during the day. Of course, this matter will be following up another police station to whether to find out whether the issues raised by DP party leader, that is Justin Muturi, that the UDA members are around police stations trying to bribe voters to divert the will of the people, as they say, and of course, which is contrary to IBC rules and regulations. Of course, I will be coming back to you much later to give updates on other matters that might be arising.
In Bugwa there, of course, bringing us up to speed with the situation on the ground in Mbeere North. And of course, we did see a little bit of scuffle there in regards to that particular individual was wearing in that particular, polling station. And that's what we are talking about here earlier on with Eric, trying to paint a picture of exactly what was happening in Kasipul and how that could influence elections and also just the outcome later on. And, after we counted the vote and somebody is declared a winner, could that be used against that particular individual if at all they were donning party colors or just indications that they could still be in the campaign mode? Let me start with you in regards to this. I was supposed to come to you. I'll come.
Donning, I talked about donning party color or donning something that look like can influence a voting pattern. And like I was saying, during our training, not once, not twice, you are told on conduct during, within, and after the elections. How do you conduct yourself? During election, you are taught how to conduct yourselves, and especially giving boundaries and your timetable of campaigns. Again, that brought Boyd and my friend Aroko to IEBC, and they were all penalized. We lost 2 people because of such things, who should not have been lost in Kasipul. During election, your people are told, and you yourself you're told, not to don anything that look like you're campaigning for your party or continuity of campaign. Did these people follow? No. You could see up to yesterday, you could see there were vehicles going around in Mbeere giving unga. Did Mbeere people tell you they are still hungry? They need unga. Mbeere is raining right now. Did they tell you they're hungry? Why were you still giving them unga? Of course, you're not wearing, but you're doing something that insinuates your intentions.
Okay.
My friend from Chinga, MCA Chinga, I've met him a lot on the set. He shouldn't have wore yellow, even having a yellow jacket. That definitely shows where you are leaning on and what are your intentions as you go to the polling centers with such a clothing. I mean, it takes someone who is really not interested in politics not to understand.
Okay.
He found guys who are interested. That alone is an electoral offense against UDA.
Okay.
Should UDA...
Oh, UDA as a party, not the individual?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the party loses the seat.
Okay.
It is the party. The individual is actually doing a wrong to the party.
All right.
Okay? So now if the UDA guy wins, what happens? Litigation. So that's how I was saying even Aroko is wrong. And people know these things. They just decide to be ignorant. This guy, he's run twice. Actually, I think he's a second or a third term in Chinga. He knows this thing. He's a chairman of UDA elected MCAs in the country. He knows these things. Why would he be ignorant to it?
Okay. Come on.
This is the problem of electing daft leaders. Someone who has participated in an election, not twice, not thrice. And then you come in, someone who has paid agents, someone who has participated in an IEBC training. And then now you come in with party colors, wearing party colors. And you know really, really, really well that it is wrong. It will bring chaos. You know, these people in the government, you know, they just thrive in chaos, and they sleep thinking about chaos, how they will cause drama, and a lot of nonsense. Now the member of county assembly Chinga coming in with party color, that was, I don't know even why William Ruto, you know, is in the same table with such kind of leaders. People who keep on bringing on chaos and drama right, left and center unnecessarily. Now, in the event people go to court, and you know that is evidence, and they lose, what will William Ruto tell these people? But anyway, that is wrong. That is way out.
There's a question that was asked by, I think, a colleague in the industry, I believe it was Ibrahim Karanja, that was it the responsibility of, you know, the Justin Muturi faction to eject him and stop him from getting in, or was it the responsibility of IEBC?
It is the responsibility of any agent, who is representing the candidate. JB is a super agent representing the candidate of DP. So whenever you see any malfunction of the election, you call it out and you participate. And that is why you have seen he has not only been ejected by one person, he has been ejected by JB Muturi and other agents. And also I have seen an IEBC official there. You have to walk out, and you have to go very far from the polling station. You have to go and change and come back. You know, today is the only day he saw that he has a yellow jacket to wear.
Yes.
Today is the only day he thinks, or even Aroko is thinking, is the only day he thinks now he can wear a shirt that is branded Aroko. And he had a whole 3, 4, 5 months of doing that.
Okay.
You know,
does wearing the jacket to some extent, because in most cases somebody will believe and say, when somebody is going to queue to vote, they've already, you know, decided who they wanted to vote for. Can that last minute thing influence someone to change their mind and say this is what I'm going to vote for?
It is law under under the Electoral IBC Commission Act of 2016, law number 6, I guess. No one should wear any party color or any clothing branded with party colors or branded any name associated with any candidate. Well, it might not influence, but it is law. Okay. Why is it so hard for people to follow the law? So it is breaking
the law that we are talking about here?
Yes, you're just breaking the law based on ignorance.
That's why we are saying ignorance.
Ignorance. You're just being ignorant. It is there. It is the constitution. We follow it. It's just like me now. It is the law of this house that I am calm. I come here dressed nice. I can't walk in here with a vest.
I'll give you an example.
You
get Muslims, and now you decide to cook pig for them.
Pig outside there,
and you already know.
Oh, so that's intentionally.
It is intentional.
Provoking.
You are provoking.
You're provoking people.
How would you drive with orange color into a polling station in Ugunja, for example, today? Branded orange. Okay. You've not even written anything orange. The car is driven there, you've parked, you're going to vote. What are you doing with that car there? Actually, how many cars are even on orange color? That's why most of the time you look at the party colors are never colors that are based on vehicle colors. How many colors vehicles are blue, the wiper color? There are very few, almost none. Yes.
By the way, it is not ignorance.
It is what now?
Please don't go there.
No, it is not ignorance. It is intentional campaigns by whoever is wearing those colors. And it is entitlement, the thinking that there is nothing that will happen to you.
Me, yes.
You know, these people are not fools, as we may wish to call them. Those colors were not worn because somebody didn't have another jacket and it was cold. He did not come there because there wasn't anywhere else he would have gone. And the reason you see, because Muturi understands that, a madman could as well wear any color and go, and knowingly of what he's doing. That is ignorance. When the chairman of all UDA MCAs wears the colors of UDA and shows up strategically where people can see the colors, he knows the power of campaigns, that it is visual as well as audio. What you are communicating is that here we are yellow, we are UDA. Remember, these are the people they've been giving thousands and all kinds of money. The reason the United Opposition was accusing them of voter bribery. And then after you've done all that, then you show up in color. You are reminding these people, hey, you guys, remember all the things we've done for you. So today is the day you pay us back by voting for our guy. So you are communicating without saying words. And Muturi, because he understands very well what this guy is doing and what he has been sent to do, because I'm sure that guy did not facilitate himself to go appear in colors and risk himself being roughed up or being beaten for the fun of it. He is strategically sent. So that as everybody passes, they remember, these are the guys who've brought us blankets. We've seen women being given blankets and mattresses. So you reminding people, hey, remember today is the day? Pay us back for all the goodies we've come with.
What we've been telling
so what they are doing is not a crime of omission. It is a crime of commission. They know exactly what they are doing. They are campaigning up to date. And that is why the law is very clear. Do not don any party colors or candidate colors when you show up anywhere near the polling station, because you are campaigning, and the campaign ends 3 days to elections. So these are the malpractices the United Opposition has been talking about. It has a restraint upon its people, including the party leader of DP, who could have worn a cap or even a jacket. He has got so many of them with him. But you haven't seen anybody from their camp donning those colors because they know what it means. And I would also imagine, because those are the things they'll be using if anything happens against them. So this is a team that is well orchestrated. Please, if you are for us, don't do this. Don't give our enemies a reason to file a petition or even to file an injunction against us because of you showing up in colors. We've done our work, we've finished campaigning. Let us go there, protect our votes. If they must win, let them win legally.
Okay.
On this other side, we are seeing a team entitled enough to imagine that they could campaign and walk away with it, because if they win, the government, there isn't much we can do against them.
Yeah. I want to wind up. Let me start with Yokabao as we look forward to closing this issue in regards to the by-elections at this particular hour. What should we expect moving forward, and what are some of the expectations that you have as a young person in this country, and in terms of how this process is supposed to be conducted, and what it should inform, you know, at the end of the day?
I wish we can have a free and fair election.
Do you have faith that we are going to have one?
No, I don't. But I wish.
You don't have faith that this is going to be free and fair?
We have already started seeing it is not going to be free and fair. You know, it is, we are what? We are a few, 4 hours in the hour of the election, and we already have a car burned down. We already have incidences happening right, left, and center.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
If we've lost faith right now in the fairness of this election, and this was supposed to be a precursor and somehow a determinant on how 2027 is going to be, what are you looking at that?
Then we are looking into a very serious situation that you're draining this country back to where we came from, back to the wars and the scenarios we've been running away from. Because if IEBC is not credible enough, I'm just seeing them posting on Facebook that, and I'm telling you, it is a funny pact of IEBC. They have posted on their Facebook page that IEBC condemns, and it is not right for anyone to take photos of the ballot paper and circulate it on social media. It is a breach and it is punishable by law. Facebook, really? That is why you're taking that.
Okay, so you get to make a communication.
So then you're not supposed to communicate. You're supposed to act.
Okay.
That is what we are seeing. People just JB taking out this guy. This guy actually is supposed to be detained by the IEBC itself. He's not supposed to be sent out.
So
supposed to be taken in and, you know, just taken in, booked in, and stay in locked the whole day. He's not supposed to go anywhere. That's what I'm saying. IEBC is very good at talking, but rather not acting, and that is the sad part of it.
Okay, we said free and fair is a subject of conversation, and already we've lost faith in the fairness of this particular process because of what we are witnessing at this particular moment. And like I said, it is this was supposed to be a precursor to 2027, you know, inform 2027. Do you believe 2027? Do you believe the IEBC has the capability to be able to conduct fair elections in 2027?
No, I don't believe they are. They are capable enough. They are not actually. They are incompetent completely to conduct a free and fair election in 2027.
Okay, Eric, 4 hours into the exercise, and an independent commission seems to be losing legitimacy as we continue. Does it have a room for redemption?
IEBC lost legitimacy kitambo from the day the other group left, and how the process for formation of this group. In the IEBC, do we have representation? I base no, because I remember Honorable Raila Odinga, may his soul rest in peace, he said, we are going to have a meeting in KICC, we are going to pick 50 youths, religious groups and what have you, and decide on IEBC chairman within us. That's not what happened. So whoever put the IEBC chair there understands why the IEBC chair can even wake up and say we're having police in plain clothes coming to assist in whatever they assist in elections. So that already is losing legitimacy. Secondly, in the morning, up to now it's mid-morning, they should have already brought us a wake-up press conference. Actually, we should be having 3 in the morning, mid-afternoon, and in the evening it will be closed down and counting is starting. But up to now, there's no press conference. You can't see a chair anywhere or one of the commission just doing a presser. So this is a mini election. It is showing us what is going to happen in 2027. Cars burnt, people wearing uniforms, too many electoral offences being happening ignorantly in front of our eyes. Most of them, you can see from which side they are being done.
Okay.
And you ask yourself, are we going to have a good election in 2027?
Right.
How is it going to be?
When you ask yourself that question, what's the answer?
The answer is it's going to be a hotly contested election, and we are not going to be smiling after the elections.
Okay.
It's not going to be a smile. It's going to be a painful election, and we need a Kenya that will be strong to face the 2027 election. But what
Do
I'm
we have
sure
an opportunity of averting that?
No. We don't have.
We don't. So
we
it's a trend that was already
the
left
opportunity was to have a good IBC, elected and loved by the people. That's why Kibaki lost it in 2005.
All right.
After having the people give him the credibility in 2002.
All right.
Do we have a credible election in 2027? No, because we don't have an IBC that has been taken in by the people. Do people love them?
Okay.
Do you know there are so many questions from the time we had an IBC in place? Oh, Mara, this is the relative of who? Mara, this is the relative of Junet, what, and all that.
All right.
How is it going to be?
Okay. Kimani, in a minute, we are vying, right?
IBC lost it long time ago. There is a law called Election Campaign Financing Act. It requires IBC to set limits of money that the candidates can use when campaigning, vet all contribution coming in for campaigns, ensure that and monitor and control all expenditure by the candidates. It hasn't done that. It is supposed also to demand there to be reports of expenditure from the campaigners, because according to that act, every candidate must have like a campaign team, fully with an account where they will be depositing and drawing money.
Okay.
And after the campaigns, they are supposed to give IBC a report to verify that you did not break the law.
Okay.
We've seen people using billions, especially the side of the government. It is rumored that they've used around $1 billion. Rumors were that if you went to Mbere, for instance, you couldn't get a change of 1,000 because everybody had his. That's the kinds of money that are flowing. And that is why, by the way, you realize that the president has exhausted 80% of his kiti wakiwa na deputy president. First quarter into a whole financial year because of the kind of money they've used in these by-elections. Okay. Now, when you have an IBC that intentionally refuses to do its duties as it should, when you have somebody donning party colors and even voting in the presence of IBC, walking in and voting wearing a cap called Otete with the name Morocco at the back, a candidate wearing a badge, and he goes in and votes, and the IBC is okay with him, and he even sits down there like, like an observer.
He should have been
that is complicity with whoever side they've chosen to be in complicity with, which is against the law.
All right.
And it is clearly automatic that we are not going to have free and fair election in its absoluteness.
All right. This or 2027?
If this is a precursor of what will happen in 2027, we are in for road shock.
Okay. Are you all vying for in 2027?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we are vying.
Yeah.
You are vying?
Yes,
but
I'm vying for Molo MP.
You will not be trusting the referee to conduct that?
No, we will be there. We will fight our battles. Okay. We will wait to see the
That
results.
is why we normally have our election observers also coming in, which we should not. It's actually against the law to have that. But it's good manship, I said, to have it because you don't trust IBC.
All right. All right, that's where we wrap it up here. As for me, that is Brian Amwai, this particular conversation, making a sense of exactly what is happening on the ground as reporters, update us on the events that are happening in different parts of the country, in Malava, in Kasipul, in Magarini, of course, where we have Boniface Msangi, and of course in Eren North, where we have Edwin Bugwa, all of them bringing us up to speed with what is happening. We also did interact with Winnie in Baringo, where she's following up with the senatorial race in that particular county. Samuel Mataru, of course, was in Kariobangi North, or rather is in Kariobangi North, and of course will continue to bring us up to speed with exactly what is happening on that particular front. Right now, I want to pave way for my colleague Mumbi Shage, who will be coming in a few to continue with this particular coverage of the 2020 by-elections 2025, which we call it the first battle for 2027. That's it for me here at this particular hour. My name is Brian Amwai. Do have a lovely day and enjoy the rest of your programming on this particular coverage.
Thank you.
Kameme TV, Muthi wa rũrĩrĩ.
Huyu ni Brayo. Hii Krisi, Brayo anadai tu furaha. Akajiambia hatatulia hadi ipate. Akapiga maraundi hadi siku moja furaha ikapatikana. Tumefungulia value Hickory C upate furaha. This festive season, dial *423# to reconnect and stay connected to GoTV value for only 599 Kenya shillings.
Kameme kayuka moigi na Kameme TV tukinyitirira mathaga maitu turakurehera Mwijoyo Festival ne Jumamothi mweri 29 November haria Sports View Hotel Kasarani kwambĩrĩria thaa 8 cia mũthenya. Ũkocemania na njata cia Wayne, Samido, Josega Tutura, Tonya